Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the GBYWN Australia podcast. I am your host, as per usual, Aston Crude, and here tonight on a very lovely Monday evening, Labour Day, actually, public holiday.
Was that what it is?
It is, it's Labour Day.
What's the purpose of Labour Day?
Don't know, not really sure.
It's not about babies, is it?
Hope not. Hate babies.
You're the only person that's ever postulated babies as the possible reason. Like, a lot of people say, oh, it's a political thing, it's about labour. Or work, I guess. Fucking
Babies are cool. Babies are alright.
They're alright.
Yeah, they're alright.
They taste good.
Delicious.
We're here today with none other than Australian Backyard Wrestling Hall of Famer, Daniel Johnston.
How's it going?
And, of course, the anarchistic animal, former two-time world hardcore champion, soon to be in the Hall of Fame as well, Killawatt Kaos.
Really? How are we going, peoples? How are we?
Just so you both know, you can raise your voice a little bit so it's not too quiet. Thank you.
Awesome, that's sweet. I love it.
That's
Cheers, mate.
excellent, Chaos. Much better.
Seeing the wavelength come up, now I know that it's registering.
Yeah, and that's sick. And here today, ladies and gentlemen, we will be reviewing WZWA Battlefield Brawl from last month, which was... it was a bit 50-50 for me.
We'll go through our overall thoughts. We'll start with you, Aston.
I think Hostile Backyard Showdown trounced Battlefield Brawl.
It trounced it.
Trounced.
Triumphed over it.
I was so happy with that event, and I thought in comparison, too many things were nagging at me.
Well, let's hear about it.
In the final
We're
product.
going to get into it as we go through the matches, but let's hear a little quick rundown of your
It's
things.
just like, you know, when you map something out, you've both booked for different federations. You map something out, and then you see it take place, and they don't. What you envision doesn't actually end up coming to fruition. The way that you had been planning
it's
months.
Like when you want to make a little movie.
Yes.
And you're the director, and it's just not quite what you had.
And it's a shame that you only get one take. You
do with wrestling.
You got to do one take, and if you fuck it up, then that's it. You can't do it again, because then the reaction from the people who are watching will not be the same, because they know what's going to happen. So,
like, Chaos, what's your overall thoughts?
Hell, any night that I get to see fight is always good for me, but I agree with Aston here. Hostile Backyard Showdown brought back a level of WZWA that we've kind of been missing. The overall atmosphere that's kind of been lagging and hasn't been there.
yeah.
We finally got it at Hostile Backyard Showdown, and it's almost like immediately at Battlefield Brawl, we kind of lost our stigma again.
I think it was just a bit of stress throughout. I mean, I dropped the ball. I'm just gonna put that out there. I dropped the ball. I didn't want to be as hands-on as I usually am, because I was burned out immediately. Immediately, I was burned out being there, trying to set up the lights, doing all the, by the time we set up the bloody, what do you call them? The big shade.
Yeah.
The gazebos. By the time we had set them up, the sun was starting to go down, so it was like...
Well, for my overall little thing before we get into it, I like to... It doesn't matter what Fed it is, ICW, WZW, whatever. I think that shows can kind of be categorized in like one of three ways. Either you've got a really good social atmosphere, or you've got a show that looks really good on the recap, despite what it was like on the day.
Yeah.
Or you've got a show that was just a really kick-ass show all around, and, different shows have different combinations of the three. And I feel like those ones that, pretty good, like, social, from the social perspective, pretty good day, all of us hanging out.
Yeah.
But for me, this show was kind of one that looked a lot better on the recap, than it really was in person. I think it was a good show, but it definitely wasn't like one of those ones that, is especially memorable and everyone sort of, is real pumped about it.
it comes down to effort for me, and on my behalf, I think my effort wasn't good enough to make sure that it was going to be the best event it possibly could be. I didn't really look at what I had actually booked on the show properly, and I realised 3/4 through the show, I'm like, man, there's a lot of fucking interferences in this show. You know, it's getting old real fucking quick, and I can see it. And I think it's because, you know, I'm watching the show, and Jared Slate's there, so I'm watching the show through his eyes, thinking, what would he be thinking at this point? And I'm like, yep, I should have tightened that up. I should have made sure that didn't happen. I should have made sure that didn't happen. Fuck. Oh well.
He did remark to me several times that there was too many interferences. Like, there was probably an interference in, like, every single match on the show.
There was only, I think... No, there was a few. Okay, well, some of them, but there's
like,
just too
much. If we're going
much.
down the list, there was an interference in that match, there was an interference in that match, there was an interference in that match, there was an interference in that match. Quite a lot of interference.
Quite a lot of interference. All right, well, let's kick off with the show then.
All right.
We start off with Ryan Tate, who was originally against Deacon. Deacon decided to drop out of the match to give Aries the opportunity to wrestle Ryan Tate for the first time. So we've got Arthur Aries. Who wants to go first? DJ.
Well, I felt, you know, I think that this is another one of those things, like we've been talking about the last few podcasts, it's one of those things that's kind of, it makes you realize how much it sucks that the Fed's coming to an end, because this match was like a perfectly fine match, but I think that had these two had an opportunity to have a rematch, the rematch would have been, you know, the match. You know, the kind of match that everyone would have really been talking about.
That's such a shame, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because I could see Tate going into a feud with Aries and Deacon for the next few months.
So, I mean, I'll say at the outset, same as with any other podcast, anything that's negative that we say, it's all just an honest, objective viewpoint of the show. And it's not singling out any one person or any group of people. It's kind of
our feedback that we've been getting is that we've been too complimentary and we're not giving enough negativity.
So
it's not negative; it's constructive criticism.
This match, as far as the quality of the wrestling and the technical prowess that was shown, let me down based on what I've come to expect from both of these guys. There was parts of it that felt a little bit sloppy. There were parts of it that felt a bit wish-washy. But having said that, I also felt like it was a perfectly, you know, it was a good little match. I really enjoyed like a lot of the stuff. I think Aries especially looked really good. He seems to be really excited that he's back. You know, his selling and his bumping is really impressing me quite a bit. I think he's really one of those like serviceable heels, one of those utility players that
you can put him anywhere.
Yeah, as a heel, he's really gets into the character, and it's really nice to actually see that, you know, old school 80s heel mentality and actually have somebody going out there and trying to achieve that on a yachting show, especially in 2017. So that was really impressive. You know, Tate, as always, had the intensity, had the hard hits. He did well. I don't know if Ryan himself was a bit stressed out about things on the day, because I know that he does a lot, like logistically and organizationally wise for the shows. So I don't know if that was like affecting his performance, but I think that you give these two a match that they've had some time to think about, and now that they've tested the waters of what it's like to work with each other, it's a real shame, because I think that this match is really just a taste of what these two could produce if they gave us a match.
Definitely.
Like a rematch down the track.
Chaos.
Yeah, I agree with DJ over there. Like, I reckon the rematch between these two would be excellent. I'm really loving that Aries is coming back with such enthusiasm for wrestling. You know, he's got the energy there, and to actually, you know, hang on in a match and have as much momentum between you and Tate, that's a big thing to have, because Tate's got a lot of fucking energy.
He's got a very crisp energy. Like
yeah, you know,
dense.
It is. He is like a little fireball, and the moves were pretty good. You know, you can't take anything away from Ryan, and Aries did a lot in the match as well. You know, all in all, I reckon it was a great opener.
I think it was a great opener, and I agree with you both there. On the whole, it would be great to see them have a rematch, and if we're capable of doing a backyard TV, which I doubt at this stage, but if we are capable, that would certainly be something that I'd think about.
I mean, at this point, though, with the number of matches that we've set off, we can do a backyard TV, we have to see this. At this point, we have so many matches that fit into that category that we might as well have, like, 1 or 2 full events that we would need to fit all that shit in. So
Exactly.
not every one of those matches is going to make the cut. It's a real shame. You know, it is a real shame.
I will say I think Aries needs to work on his strikes. Looked a little soft on the light pounding he was giving Ryan on his back with some of his forearms and clubs to the back. Don't be afraid to lay it in. He already knows all this. I've already told him my feedback, but don't be afraid to lay it in because we all hit each other real hard. Just watch a Daniel Johnston match and you'll know the limit that there should be for hitting people. And also I want to say the chemistry between Aries and Deacon as a tag team, I thought immediately these two, it would have been so good to see where it would go for the rest of 2017.
Dominant heel tag team champions.
Oh, they would win the belts for sure, and I just think that, you know, when you think of Deacon and Ace as a tag team, I didn't see that chemistry. Ace was more of a bodyguard, I suppose, for that time during his feud with Kyle in 2015. But I think Aries and Deacon as a team, it makes so much sense once you see it. And, you know, Deacon jumped into Aries' arms at one stage outside the ring, and I thought that was awesome. And I just thought they worked really well together in this, and Aries gets the big win, and it's actually his first ever singles match victory.
You know, if there's one other thing that I'll add to the end of it, as I'm prone to do, I think that Aries should go back to wrestling without the shirt on. I thought it was good when he had it off. I thought it looked better that way. And I don't know why the shirt was on when he had his match, but I think that it looks better with it off. He looks a bit more of the part. And Aries in general, the only thing that he really needs to complete the package is maybe, you know, slick back his hair, like fix up his tights a bit so they're not falling down. Just tidy up his overall look. And then I think that, you know, then he'll really be firing on all cylinders. Because I did pick up that, you know...
No tuxedo t-shirt.
No tuxedo t-shirt, no. Just go without the t-shirt. He's a big hoss, he doesn't fucking need a t-shirt. Like...
Yeah, just to put a bow on this one, next show, Aries will be facing Rex Regum in a matchup.
Yeah,
that match was originally going to be Dark Ice versus Rex Regum in their final battle, but Ice has retired now, so it will be Aries and Regum. Are we excited?
Yeah, definitely.
Oh man, of course. I
always love to see Rex wrestle.
You know that Rex pretty much like has a great match with anyone that you put him in there against. Obviously, all three of us basically in the past have really talked up Rex a lot. He's a personal favourite of mine. Obviously because he's a good friend, but also he's just a fantastic wrestler. And so the opportunity to see what Aries can do against a guy like Chris is something that I'll be really looking forward to, and I would be shocked if that match wasn't, you know, a 7 out of 10 at the least.
I think Chris always brings the best out of everyone, so it's going to be...
got that chemistry. Really.
It's just that, and it's that perfect situation for a really good, you know, technical match as well, that I imagine will sort of have a few hard-hitting moments in it as well, because Aries isn't afraid to, like, take a bump, you know, take a good bump, so...
Neither is Rex. So.
Yeah.
And Ryan Tate at the next show, Hard Time 6, will be taking on Big Ace in a singles match. This means that Tate versus Ace means this is the last person Ryan's never wrestled that's been on the WZWA roster.
Wow.
You know, I mean, if you want to count Johnny V, Nick Ariel, Phaser, yes, he hasn't wrestled them, but I'm talking about someone who's been a mainstay in WZWA, so I'm really looking forward to Tate versus Ace. Ace has obviously been on fire. Big victories over Monet and Kaos, and a great match against myself, which we'll talk about later on, and just another one for Ace to put in the books as another possible match of the show contender.
I mean, we've been saying that before we started recording here. Ace is currently, you know, in my view, the MVP of the roster, and we'll be talking about that throughout the show. But yeah, a guy as talented and as skilled as Ryan, and you know, you put him up against Ace, who's been having some of the best matches of his career, and things are really starting to click for him. He's starting to figure it out, you know, and he's really entertaining to watch. And you know, that's already 2 matches that we've just previewed there that I'm excited for.
Excellent.
Will we be doing a preview podcast, do you reckon?
No, because we're doing the preview and the review in one.
And this one, all right.
Yeah, all in one. Right, well, we'll get to the next match, boys. Antilochus versus Luke Monet in their final battle, which ended up becoming the franchise versus the originals, where Jack would end up turning on Luke Monet toward the end of the match and siding with the originals to kick off the feud between Jack and Monet. And I would like to take the floor, gentlemen.
Yep.
I have a lot to say here of what I'm angry at and disappointed with. We knew what the spot was where Lila was to come out and make it a tag team match. It was when all 4 of them would be brawling on the outside.
Well, I got to interject because I'm not a booker. I didn't know when the spot was.
Okay, well, I'll get to that. So they knew when it was supposed to be. When they all started... Basically, this was the plan. Antilochus and Monet were going to go out there for about 10 minutes. Singles match. Just a singles match. Rex keeps getting involved, Jack keeps getting involved, Rex keeps getting involved. Eventually it gets to a point where they're all brawling on the outside. Lila comes out, I'm sick of this shit, we're going to make it a tag team match now. The match would go on. Monet would be the man in peril the whole time. Eventually going for that hot tag, Jack pulls his arm away, showing that he's pulled his arm away into the air, just like at Hardcore Hell 2012, which he did when he turned on Monet against me and Alex Stone. It was supposed to be a complete rehash of the same angle, showing, look, Jack Wallace just fooled him again. He did the same thing to him again after all these years. What an asshole. Then Monet would turn around into an Antilocutter or whatever, 1, 2, 3, then the originals would beat down on Antilochus. That right there has its psychology. Jack hasn't actually fought Rex, hasn't actually fought Antilochus. That's why that happens. That's why it makes sense. This is what I'm angry at. I don't know whose idea this was to have so much interaction with Monet and Rex, etc. at the beginning. I liked the spot where he flapjacked Rex into the ropes. I thought that was really cool. But then all of a sudden, Jack attacks Antilochus, and, well, that's the cue to play the music for Lila to come out. So I'm angry because I'm like, the whole fucking point of this was to get Monet versus Antilochus for the last time. But now Jack jumped the gun, attacked Jacob when he wasn't supposed to. So now the person who's on the music has played the theme. Lily's already out there. No one thinks to call an audible, knowing that it's supposed to be a singles match, and say, no, we're going to have this singles match, we'll calm it down. No one thinks, obviously that's difficult to do in the heat of the moment, but that was always an option that could have been on their minds. So it ends up being a tag match. You got Jack actually wrestling Rex, you got Jack actually wrestling Antilochus. Makes no sense that he's fighting them because he's supposed to be turning on Monet. And then I find out afterward that Jacob and Rex didn't even know Jack was turning on Monet. There was no communication between the guys of what the fuck was going to happen. So Jacob was angry afterward when we were having a few drinks, and he's like, man, I'm real fucking angry about my match. Like, it was supposed to be a really good singles match, and then we're going to do the thing that you said, but I didn't even know Jack was turning. And I'm like, are you fucking serious? How do you not get told the most important information of the match? So, like, obviously, yeah, like, and now Rex and Jacob and Jack are like, don't get Monet to give us information on our matches anymore because he keeps fucking it up. And I had a word with Luke over it, and Luke said that he made the mistake of just saying we do the Hardcore Hell 2012 spot. So, obviously, Jacob and Rex, hearing that, won't know what the fuck he's talking about. And, yeah, so I'm really disappointed in what the results were, because a lot of the shit that happened didn't make sense, and we didn't get to see Jacob and Monet actually have a solid match out there. So that's my That's my feedback. Chaos.
Well, yeah, I've got to say, this seems to be another thing that's happened between the franchise and the originals angle, where we got communication breakdown. And it's not been the first time, as you know. It's always happened, and that they're never on the right level and the right page, and the flow is fractured from then on. I always love seeing these guys wrestle, but it was really sad to see this be a very underwhelming match, a very underwhelming segment, I should say, because this thing was more of a clusterfuck. I have to say, you know, you had everything going off at once, and then I was a referee. I was Josh Cohn for that time, and had to come out. And even being a referee didn't go so well because, you know, usually the ref comes out and tells you to break it up. You're not supposed to. I'm pretty sure it was Monet ended up giving me a crossbody, like crossbodying the ref, which was hectic. Like how am I supposed to keep it? Anyway, yeah, for the like, you had a few good moves and everything was great. And as you pointed out, Jack should have literally made it well known that he had
moved his hand out the way.
Yeah,
because it looked like he got the tag in the footage.
He got the tag.
And I'm like, dude, lift your hand up. The spot was from Hardcore Hell. You then grab his throat and throw it onto the top rope to spring him off to turn around into the move.
Yeah.
But instead you got Monet standing there like an idiot, and Jack, like, the fans or the people who are watching aren't unaware of what the fuck's going on. Fuck, like, what an absolute mess.
So yeah, no, there was a lot of things missing, and it's not to really put down on their performance, because then, you know, they're not usually like this as individual competitors, but it just seems like whenever the originals angle happens between these four, there's always a communication breakdown, and hopefully it won't happen again. So,
DJ.
Yeah, well, I've been gathering my thoughts here while you guys have been discussing, because I feel like there's a lot to say about this match. So, first of all, on an overall thing, this match epitomizes what I said earlier on at the outset about a show that looks really good on the recap, but wasn't necessarily so good in person. So the match between Antilochus and Monet that started out at the beginning was good. You know, it's what you would expect. It was probably nothing that was setting the world on fire, but it was what you would expect. But the problem was immediately that you could see that the other originals that were out there were kind of getting involved almost too much. And I think with the four of them, as you know, Josh put the nail on the head there when he said that every time these originals do something like that, they do a segment or an angle, there's a breakdown in communications. That's the perfect observation. Like, that's I couldn't have put that better myself. And he's exactly right, because the guys on the outside kept on getting involved too much. The guys that were inside felt compelled that they had to react to that situation because they're trying to act and perform the angle. You know, as a fan, you don't really necessarily know that they've brought the GM out early and that the match was supposed to go on for longer. But I remember thinking, like, it was really more of a disappointment that the singles match was cut short, because I was kind of like, well, especially when I saw how many people ended up doing double duty later on over the show. But so that was the first problem, and then the match begins, and for some reason, just things aren't clicking. You know, there's spots being blown.
Oh, like I think Rex went for a head scissors or something on Monet, and it just
there's spots that are being blown. There's things that aren't really connecting like they should. Again, it looks like there's a breakdown in communication, and it almost seems like people are unwilling to kind of give and take, as you're supposed to do in a wrestling match. And it was literally, I think for me, the biggest issue wrestling-wise with the tag match was timing. I think that timing is the big thing, because there was a lot of mistimed spots and a lot of mistimed. It reminds me of this match that I saw on WWF pay-per-view. It was from like 1998, and it was a three-way tag match, like with three teams.
Yeah.
And every single, you could see what the spots, what they were trying to do. but all of the spots were out of time. Like, there was obviously some kind of communication error, and this person would be late to break up a pin, or late to do this, or late to do that. And really, I just felt like that's what I was watching in this tag match. I felt like I was watching 4 people that were, especially Chris and Antilochus, were getting really frustrated. I think you could see the frustration building.
Yeah.
I think you could see that the guys were realizing that this was descending into a bit of a cluster. I think that the audience was sort of sitting there going, well, this kind of needs to be mercy killed because it's getting out of hand and it's getting hard to watch because no one wants to watch their friends having a bad match. Like,
Yeah.
no one wants that for their friends. Like, we all want each other to have a great match and everything like that. And when the timing was all off like that, I think that really was, you know, I was a bit surprised that should happen, honestly, with the 4 people involved. You know, it does happen. You don't always just have a perfect match. But I think that, yeah, I mean, I was getting a lot of thoughts together while you guys were talking, but really, you know, to put it succinctly, was just a communication breakdown. I think that communication breakdown was sort of a bit of a theme throughout the show, in a lot of ways, and it was epitomized here. Like, some good moves pulled off, you know, a great little bit at the beginning with Antilochus versus Monarch. I was left confused as to why Jack was turning on Luke when he did it, and I think that got lost in the shuffle. It was like there was all this stuff going on over here, and then in the background you've kind of got Jack doing this heel turn. Whereas if
he shouldn't have been wrestling either Jacob or Rex in this match. It made no sense that it happened whatsoever. He had 55 Live later to do. Like, he didn't need to be wrestling, and it didn't make sense that he would wrestle the guys he was actually joining with.
So, I mean, it's a shame. I don't really find myself having a lot of complimentary things to say about it, and I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings, but...
No, we've been doing it long enough now that they should be able to take it.
I think that everyone knows that this thing was, you know, a bit of a fucking discombobulation, and, yeah, it was a little bit difficult to watch, because you could see that they were trying to get it together, and it just wasn't happening, and that's what happens when communication is not a priority, because I know these guys, and I know that on some days they really commit to the planning and they really go all out with trying to prepare everything, and on other days they just go, fuck it, we've wrestled each other a lot of times.
So it's
going to be fine.
To the win, basically.
Well, it's not always fine, even if you've wrestled the person a million times before. It's a tag team, there's like four people involved. It's a pretty big angle, it's a pretty complex angle to pull off, the idea of having to interject enough times into a singles match that it makes sense to turn it into a tag match without turning the singles match into a huge clusterfuck itself, and then pulling off a really good tag match, and then in that same tag match also doing a turn right after they'd only just reunited. It's a lot of stuff to kind of do, and I think that all of these guys would have been capable of pulling it off without a hitch had there been a thorough discussion about what was going to happen.
I think that's the problem. Like, they're not actually mapping shit out beforehand and really discussing it. They're just getting there on the day, which I've always said, guys, plan. You've got a month between shows to plan. But you guys don't do it. You just think, I'll just do it at the show. Well, sometimes when we've got time constraints and time's getting on and your match has got to be next, sometimes you don't have that time. So you need to fucking map out your matches a month in advance.
It's exactly what I was saying in the last podcast about if there's going to be angles or programs executed, like interferences, run-ins, anything like that, any smoz, any shenanigans in the match, that's the stuff that really needs to be discussed and broken down and gone over several times, at least, by the people involved. You don't have to plan out every little move of your match. You know, these guys can do a good match in their sleep. But it's like, if you've got to have a point where, alright, this is the point where we want the thing to break down and turn it into a tag match. So you should be discussing, this is the spot that we're going to do. Your cue to come out is this spot, or your cue to start brawling is this spot, so that you know exactly what time all of this stuff is going to be happening, and then the rest of it can be improvised. But everyone needs to be on the same page as far as when to execute all these other things that aren't a part of the match itself.
Yeah.
Like the storytelling elements of it need to be discussed.
Right on.
Yeah.
To put a bow on this match, we'll talk about the matches that some of these guys have for the next show. We've already talked about Rex's match. So Antilochus will be taking on Steel Kemsley for the first time.
Nice. It should be a really good match. Steel is going to learn a bit of a lesson of stepping into the ring with a hardcore guard. Antilochus always wrestles well, so this will be a very interesting one to
Yeah, I'm excited to see how Antilochus works with Steel. Hopefully they pull it off, DJ.
I fully expect them to pull it off. I'm confident at this point with Steel that he, even if he's not the best technical wrestler out there, he will usually have a good match against everyone because he knows how to take a beating.
And he's very entertaining.
That's a very underrated quality to have in a wrestling act, as part of your act, is just being able to take a really good beating. And Steel does that. And I think when you've got a guy with the intensity and the skill of Antilochus going against Steel, it can only be good. It's going to be an interesting contrast in styles, but I think it's definitely going to be good.
Excellent. We've got Luke Monet at the next show going one-on-one for the first time with Deacon Whalen. They've met in tag team matches, but never one-on-one.
Oh, wow. These two are great guys as well. They're both nimble. They're both fit. They've both got a lot of momentum going into a match. Both not, I wouldn't say high flyers, but both those agile kind of guys that do jump around the ring, and I think this is going to be an excellent one. They're both basically the same size as well. I think that's you don't get that too much in the wrestling matches with us. We're all kind of different shapes and sizes. We're almost like Mr. Men.
That's true.
We're all like Mr. Men. We're all something different. So this would be a great one. I reckon it's going to be good.
Daniel.
If there's a piece of advice that I've got for the people going into this match, specifically Deacon, I think that if Deacon can stick to the things that are his strengths and avoid the things that are his weaknesses, this match has the potential to be, a 5-star match.
It could be a classic.
Could be a classic match.
But they got to map it out. They got to plan.
And Deacon needs to remember, this is what I'm good at, this is what I'm not so good at, so I want to focus on these things and put aside these other things, Because sometimes Deacon has a propensity to do that, whether he gets pushed into it by the opponent or whether he tries to do it himself and it doesn't quite work out. Sometimes I know that Deacon bites off a bit more than he can chew with trying something out and it doesn't end up looking as 100% good as it could. I think that Deacon, needs to just focus on his strengths and let his strengths do the talking. And then Deacon has that great heel character. Monet's really good at playing that babyface underdog that can sell for him and bump for him. So that combination, if both of those guys just focus on what brought them to the dance, it's going to be a fantastic match.
Agreed, and I just want to emphasize you guys should plan this match out properly. Monet, respond to your inboxes, talk to Deacon, map out some ideas, come up with something really good. I want the match to go over 10 minutes because I'm looking at the match length for all the matches in the last few shows and barely any of them are getting over 10 minutes, and that's just... It's not on really. We're used to having great matches that can go a little bit longer than usual. We don't have like a TV time limit here. We don't have to go to a commercial or anything. You guys have got some time out there to make sure that you build these matches up properly, and I really want to see a cracker from these two. And because I'm going to be honest, like Deacon's 2016 totally cut down his momentum. In 2015, he was like, I think he came third in Wrestler of the Year, third or fourth.
Wow.
And then because he missed so many shows due to having to go to work last year, he'd come back, he'd have this match, he'd go away, he'd come back, he'd have this match, and like his momentum just was so stagnant. Is that the word? Stagnant.
Yeah, stagnant. Like water.
Yeah, and you need this match to be great, Deacon. You need to get back into the swing of things. You didn't actually have a match at this show, so I'm looking forward to you and Monet for the first time. And lastly, guys, the 55 Live Scramble open challenge, the Cruiserweight Zoo match.
That sounds interesting.
The Cruiserweight Zoo match.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think that this also has the potential to descend into a clusterfuck, though. Like, luckily with 55 Live, as you know, I'm the biggest fan of 55 Live going. It's always my favourite part of the show since it's begun. And that kind of frenzied chaos that you see out of those matches is one of the things that makes it so great. But since we're dealing with more than two people in this match, I think that there does need to be some thought laid into mapping a few things out, making sure that they have the broad strokes of what they want nailed down on the canvas, and then they can fill in the details on the fly. But in this situation, even though we do have that 55 Live has the chaos and it's funny and you know it's a bit of fun.
I don't believe I will be in the 55 Live.
I'm using chaos in the
CH spelling.
The other version of
the
it.
boring way. Yeah.
So I think that this is a special circumstance for 55 Live where a bit more planning and care needs to be put into it. But having said that, I'm looking forward to it. I love 55 Live. It's my fucking jam. And I'm keen.
Basically, this Cruiserweight Zoo match is kind of like... Well, it's a scramble. You know what the scramble match is. And, but the guys who are in the match are going to be in a cage before their theme song plays. So I don't know what will be taking place in that cage. But we'll be having the two guys start off, and then every couple of minutes someone will come out and join the match, and another person, and this person wins the Cruiserweight title, this person wins the Cruiserweight title, etc. until we get to that 15 minutes, or however long it's going to be. Probably 15, 20 will be pushing it, I think. But that's the idea. It's a poor man's elimination chamber, I suppose, which we do so well, a la War Games, etc. But I'm looking forward to it. I think this could be potentially, if Jack maps it out well, you got Mojo Flo, who is Monet, you got Emilio, who's Kyle, you got Colin, who's Deacon, you got some other surprises who'll be in there. As long as they map this out properly and they all talk to each other, I think it'll be fine. I mean, that match that Steel, Mojo, and Jack had on the first proper 55 Live, that was astounding.
It was.
And I think if you add Kyle and you add Deacon to that, it'll be excellent. So anyway, look, we've reached 37 minutes already, and we've only got through 2 matches, so we've got to get to the next one. Backyard Championship, Daniel Johnston's first ever Backyard Championship opportunity against Brandon Cage. And once again, gentlemen, I will be taking the floor to begin this one, just with a few things that were nagging me about Brandon's performance specifically. So Brandon had made it pretty clear to me he wanted to bring back Brandon Cage for the next few shows and keep Clyde on the back burner for a little bit. And I was like, okay, that's cool. But then, okay, the old Brandon Cage theme song hit, and out he comes, and he looks like he's being a heel. Isn't Brandon Cage supposed to be the babyface, and the schizophrenia that takes over, which becomes Clyde? He's the heel. So why is Brandon Cage coming out kind of looking like a heel with the swagger of a heel and on the microphone saying, "Did you miss me?" and then drops the mic? Why would you do that if Brandon Cage is the babyface and Clyde is the heel? This is what Brandon Cage should have said. DJ, I'm sorry, I just want to take a bit of time here. I've been to see some doctors. I'm on medication at the moment. I've got some schizophrenia going on right now. This guy Clyde, he keeps on trying to take over. I'm trying to keep him away, keep him at bay. I just want to succeed as Brandon Cage. But the thing is, I've got this championship now thanks to Clyde. Like, I never saw success like this, but because of Clyde, all of a sudden I'm the backyard champion, and this is really crazy. I'm sure it's crazy to you all hearing this right now, but like, I want to have the success that Clyde has had. I can do it myself. I don't need Clyde. And DJ, let's just have a great contest, whatever. That's what Brandon should have said on the microphone, not "Did you miss me?" Well, you seem like a heel when you do that, bro, and I didn't enjoy that. And that's just the main thing that I wanted to say. As far as this match goes, it got off to a bad start already because I didn't know what the hell he was doing, and I think it was a step in the wrong direction for the character because he has been doing a really good job in the last 3-4 shows with this Brandon Cage / Clyde thing, where he cut that promo at a show. I don't know what show it was. He was Brandon Cage, then all of a sudden Clyde was there, and that he was like talking as both characters within the same promo, and everyone's like, wow, this is really cool. But now it's taken a step backwards in the wrong direction, and you know, that was even before the match had even begun. So DJ, you were in the match, you had the match with him. What are your thoughts?
Didn't like it. Didn't feel like my performance was all that great to begin with. Despite people, you know, Rex came up and told me that he thought I actually did fine, but this was an example where I don't know, I didn't feel like it was good. The promo at the beginning, I didn't feel like it was good. You know, I was kind of worried about the match, which left me unable to concentrate on my promo. I think the fact that Slate was in the audience probably threw me off a little bit because I wanted the match to be really good, and so you end up kind of focusing on that too much. And so it's hard to try to find the words to discuss it because I don't want to like hurt Brandon's feelings.
Well, I want you to be honest because he needs to hear it, dude.
Alright, well, the problem is that Brandon was trying too much to lead the match and call the match, and unfortunately, given my limitations and the cerebral palsy to begin with, I need to be in control of the pacing of the match and the timing of it. That way I can try to go up to whatever speed the opponent needs at the appropriate times, and then the rest of the time the pace is getting kept down where I need it to be so that I can stay competitive in the match. And you know, not only that, but since I'm the more senior wrestler, I think it would have been a good idea to let me take the reins in the match.
Well, that's what I wanted to say, DJ.
I'm trying to just hold on. I'll just finish my parts, and then you guys can do it.
Go.
I was trying to call the match and communicate, and I felt like Brandon probably wasn't as receptive as I would have liked to those communications. He was calling a few things, and I couldn't really understand him throughout the match, and so the stuff ended up looking wonky. And there's a couple of occasions you can actually see it in the match. He puts me in a headlock, and then he wants me to shoot him off. And so I'm trying to go and push him against the ropes and throw him off and do the shoulder tackle, but instead of that, he just plants his feet, refuses to move, and then before I even push him, he runs off and hits the ropes on his own, and lets go of the headlock himself and runs off and does it, and it looks awkward because it catches me by surprise.
Yeah.
So I'm fucking dazed almost by it, and then he comes back and I give him this weak ass shoulder block. Other examples, I go to whip him out of the corner and he doesn't move because he doesn't know exactly what the spot is until I whip him. It's you know, let me whip you and you'll see what I'm doing as I'm coming in for it. And it's just stuff like that. There was a communication deficit, and you know, I felt like for my part, the fact that I was feeling so overwhelmed by that situation, that I knew the match wasn't going that well and everything, you can see me moving slow and sluggish in the match because I'm not able to focus on just doing the moves because I'm too fucking preoccupied with it getting all out of hand and going all over the place. So, you know, my disability, I felt like it was really exposed in this match with the way that it looked when I was walking and I was running, because I was being put on the spot and forced to do movements that I wasn't prepared to do. And that's when I never liked that, because I like to keep the cerebral palsy as unexposed as possible in my matches. So not only am I disappointed in Brandon, but I'm disappointed in myself as well that I couldn't get things back on track and that I was too worried that Slate was there. And obviously you guys know that Brandon and I are really good friends, and Brandon, you know, has said that he looks up to me as a wrestler, and that, you know, he gets a lot of inspiration from me. And I'm disappointed because we probably won't get the chance to wrestle again. And it's a real shame that, we won't get that opportunity again, because we can have a good match. It's not an issue of it not being possible. It's just that it didn't work this time. There was once again another match where communication was a problem. I mean, the stuff that we actually did, the physical moves themselves, the neck breaker, the senton, the fucking, the stuff that we did, looked alright, Spine buster they gave me was a bit wonky. One of my legs kind of got in the way, but it still looked alright. So on the recap, the match looks perfectly fine, and, Slate even complimented me on the moves that we did and said that they all looked good. But the actual in-between the moves was really fucked up. And everyone who knows me and wrestled with me extensively knows that that's basically the most important thing to me about the performance, is how good the shit in between the moves looks. Because if that doesn't look good, you basically don't have a match. You have just a couple of people rolling around on the lounge room floor with some decent-looking moves thrown in the middle. So I feel like I'm disappointed in both of us. I wish that we could have communicated it a bit more. I was thrown off a bit off guard that he was going to be performing as Brandon Cage instead of Clyde, because hindsight's 2020, but I think now, I didn't really care when he told me at the time, but if he had been Clyde, I think that there would have been a bit more wiggle room in terms of stuff we could have done that would have been able to cover up my limitations a bit more and enable us to do some more storytelling with the Clyde character. And I'd been planning stuff based around it being Clyde. So that kind of was thrown out of the window, and I think we agreed to go onto the show quite early because somebody had to go on, and but I never should have agreed to go on yet. I should have stood my ground, because I never normally do it, but I should have stood my ground and said, can we wait a little bit, because I wasn't feeling comfortable about where the match was, where our headspaces were, and I think we both paid the price, that we went into it not fully being 100% on the same wavelengths, and I've been going on a while for it, but, Carl's right, Brandon does need to hear it so he can get better. It was, disappointing. It was a disappointing match. I really wanted it to be a great match.
Well, the thing I wanted to say was is that, Brandon, DJ's probably had over 100 matches at this point. And I know you're the backyard champ and you're getting a nice little push and stuff, but still there is a little bit of a hierarchy where you need to show at least the respect of saying to the guy who's been wrestling longer, hey man, what do you want to do? You lead the match. You come up with what would... Because you can trust DJ to come up with a good match. DJ's been a ring general for many of his matches in his career. So that's just one thing I wanted to say. You've got to remember, if you're in there with someone who is more experienced, you have to implement what they want to do as well. It's not all just about you. And I'm not saying that to put you down as a person. You're a good dude, but you need to hear it, man.
No one's putting you down. We want you to be better. We want you to be the best that you can be. And I feel like if, there's hits and misses, and I feel like this was a bit of a miss, it was... I'm glad I got the opportunity to wrestle Brandon, but, I wish that, just for both of our sakes, that it had been the match that I think we both wanted it to be. And I don't think that Brandon was quite as bothered by it as I was. Brandon probably looks at the match differently. And I know that I went on quite a bit of a spiel about it, and I'm not trying to monopolize the podcast about my match, but this was, like I said before, a larger issue of the communication problem that seems to happen with a lot of the younger guys in the Fed that are so used to the WZWA style of doing things and doing shows that they weren't around back when it was the planning and stuff was taken much more seriously. And through those foundations is how people like me and Aston and Ice and Kaos and stuff, the reason we can do those improvised matches and have them always flow and stuff is because we spent a lot of time planning originally when we were younger. And that enables more improvisation these days because there's now people that have got that experience that can go in there and lead the dance. But I think yeah, communication's a problem. Like, Chaos, what did you think, man? You haven't got a chance to...
No, I
get a
haven't.
word in.
Been holding my breath.
All right.
I almost died then. No. Man, I actually thought the match, like you said, you got some decent moves in. You both got offense and both got defense. I thought the match wasn't so bad. It wasn't the greatest DJ or Brandon Cage match of all time. Both of you have definitely done better, but I thought I didn't really recognize too much with the between the moves and that. So it's definitely because I missed out on Brandon's little promo, the whole little "Did you miss me" thing. I actually don't know what Brandon's been going for with the whole Clyde Brandon thing. That angle's been lost on me. I do not know why. I just thought he's completely turned schizo-homosexual kind of thing, which is cool. I'm cool with that. I'm cool with schizo-homos, man. I've been there. I've done that. But I actually thought the moves were really good. I thought it was a pretty cool match. That it wasn't shit. It definitely wasn't shit, and I don't really have too much to.
Well, we should put a bow on this one because we're now at 50 minutes and 3 matches in.
Well, we did
next
say
show,
that we were gonna be more thorough with it because the boys wanted it. So.
That's right. DJ next show, Alex Stone in the Dream Match series for the first time ever. Are you excited?
Of course. I think it's going to be a fantastic match. I've wrestled with Alex here and there in different situations, and it was fantastic. So I'm looking forward to it, and I think it's going to be great.
Well, Chaos, thoughts on DJ versus Alex?
I think it's going to be awesome. I think it's going to be great because DJ, you're going to have a lot of fun with Alex. Both of you, I reckon you and him will both be able to keep pace with each other as well. And Alex isn't the fireball that Ryan is, but he can sure get in there and he can do a lot. Yeah, good on you, man.
Yeah, holy shit.
I think I'm expecting a really good match. So no pressure. Just do what you do. My advice is just be you guys and Alex. Just do what you do. Pretend like you're versing me. Have that comfortability, and it'll be amazing.
I can't believe after all this time you guys never actually had a singles match until now. This just blows my mind. And of course, Brandon Cage will be defending the Backyard Championship against the Cannibal Dan Zeppelin for the first time they're going to wrestle. So I think that'll be a good one. But Brandon, got to talk to Dan about what he wants to do in the match. Don't lead it.
You're gonna have to message the
Work
Cannibal
together.
and chew the fat a bit.
DJ Brandon versus Zeppelin.
Yeah, I'd echo what you guys are saying. I think, once again, going down the line, talk to each other, communicate, map a few things out, get the broad strokes down, and it's going to be fantastic, Don't leave every little thing up to chance. If there's things that could go either way, map those things out, and then all the other little shit that doesn't matter, leave that to on the day. But, put some thought into it. I imagine this is going to be some kind of hardcore match.
No.
It's not going to be a hardcore match. So even more imperative then, because Dan hasn't been doing tons of non-hardcore matches lately, it's imperative that you guys map this thing out and decide exactly what's happening before you do it. Not every little move, but just have a discussion. Know where you want to go.
Try not to drink the whole bottle before the match, Dan. Maybe half.
Yeah, just enough to get that little buzz going, because when Dan's had a little bit of drinks in him, he starts feeling amorous, starts getting a bit more fun-loving,
Or he might want to vomit.
Or you might want to vomit. I reckon you just get to that point where you're a little bit buzzed and then do the match from there. We don't need you getting trashed, though, like you did last show.
We promote drinking and wrestling.
We do.
All right, 4-way hardcore number 1 contendership for the GBYWN World Hardcore Championship. Killawatt Kaos, Phoenix, Steel Kemsley, Rex Regum. In my opinion, this was a triumph for the show. An absolute triumph. And everyone was very excited for it. And I knew it was going to end up going well. I could tell. I could just tell. And very happy with the results, and finally we get a match on the show which goes exactly the way that I envisioned it. Really, really fucking cool, and also thought it was a nice little tidbit to have Kaos show the ICWS Championship on a WZWA show for the first time since 2012, when Mykonos had the ICWS title as the Aussie title for some time. Kaos, we're going to go with you for this matchup here.
Okay.
Your thoughts on how it all went, my friend?
Can I bring up the promo?
Bring up the promo.
I didn't like the promo. I have to admit, I kind of goofed up on the promo. I had a lot going in my head as it was. I'd forgot everything that I was going to say, because how I am, everything's got to be nice and poetic and it's got to have a little motive to it and conviction when I talk, and I kind of lost that so much. Nothing was going right. Even the belt fell off me. It always stays on me. The Velcro just somehow fell off, and that didn't work to my advantage too. I don't mind it. I did my whole little "this is a crusade" thing, and I was kind of cool with it. But for the most part, the promo wasn't. It wasn't on par with my wrestling. But the match itself, I have to say, was amazing. It was good fun to have to work with Steel and Rex and Phoenix again. Steel took he took an ass banging, bro.
Yeah.
He got his ass kicked.
I think he wanted to prove himself.
It's like I was saying before, man. That little motherfucker knows how to take a beating.
He does, and he definitely did great. I loved the way he did the outside dive was amazing. He got the twist. The
twist in midair, I was astounded.
Yeah, how I'm there watching. I'm about to take this fucking thing with us boys, and I was in awe. How
I'm just surprised someone can pull off a move like that obviously didn't get any chance to practice it.
No.
Usually he does the flip, the plancher.
But
he did the twist in midair. I was like, no way! Fuck! Thank God he didn't kill himself.
Yeah, and you think like a few times he has gotten the wrong end. Of course, versing you, the infamous almost breaking his neck. We don't know the full details to that, DJ.
But the part of the match where you guys are near Phoenix's car or whoever's car
that was awesome. Yeah, it was Phoenix's car. He was nice enough to let us smash up the car a bit, and it was his idea to do the move on the car.
That's old school NAW, like from when he yarded years ago. I remember seeing some footage of them. I think someone hit like a fucking Falcon Arrow on the hood on the actual roof of the car on someone, and I was like, "Fuck, these guys are hardcore." So that just gave me flashbacks when I saw you hit the front suplex on.
Yeah, well, it was supposed to be like the upgraded Chaos series, but
yeah,
I knew that's what it was. The suplex DD. I could see that's what it was.
Yeah, so thank
you. So
it was great. It was an amazing match to have. I haven't had too many fatal four-ways, which is always good. Rex, I can't say much on Rex. Me and Rex always just have the same chemistry, and he always has great chemistry with everyone else. And it was also good for Phoenix to finally get his comeuppance against me, I guess.
I found the huge piece of wood as the finish of the match to be absolutely hysterical, but at the same time fucking awesome. I burst into laughter when he shouted that over your head. Also want to give props to Steel for his kendo stick shots to all of you, just belting you near the car outside the ring. Steel's when he got powerbombed onto the guardrail by Rex, and so just a lot of brutal stuff that Steel took in the match I was like real proud of him. I was like, good on you, Steel. Like, he knew that you're going in there with three guys who are, very well known as being hardcore, and he held his own. Yeah. And he was, pretty much the odd one out there because he's just the party boy, Steel Kemsley, but he proved he could hang with you guys in that situation. And this was cool as well because Three Dog was actually supposed to be in Rex's spot, but I ended up just putting Rex in because I can't trust Three Dog to be there at the moment. But Rex had expressed his desire to have one more match with you, which I can't give him because it's the matches. The emphasis is on people who haven't wrestled each other before. So that was cool that he got to work with you a little bit more here, and then awesome for Phoenix to get the win. But Kaos, I want you to take this time now. Sorry, DJ, we'll get to you in a sec. I want you to take this time right now to explain frustrations that you have, or the boys had before the match, planning with Phoenix. It has to be said. This has to fucking happen. He needs to hear it.
Alright. So,
and we love you, Phoenix. We love you. You're the greatest dude.
We love you, buddy.
We love you.
I love you, buddy.
Love you, buddy.
Yeah.
I think one thing that really frustrated me was everybody. We're all at the, it'd be. I was out the back for a bit, and I'm trying to, find Chris, and Steele's there, and we're talking, and then Steele's giving me spots that involves the whole group. And I'm like, oh, let's wait for Phoenix, yada yada yada. And then it came to Phoenix coming here, and I expressed, I'm here also. I'm trying to figure out if my new theme song that I used when I came out would be sufficient, or if I should leave it at the one that I already had at that time. So I've got my earphones in. At this point, I've just taken a break, and I've told him. He's come up to me and he's been like, "Oh, we can do this. We need the boys, and Chris will do that." And I'm like, "All right, let's. You're bringing in Chris, bringing in Steele. Let's wait for all four of us. We can all talk about it." I put my earphone back, and he comes back. Oh, taps me on the shoulder. Yeah. Brings it out. Yeah. I do. Now this, it seems like I'm ignorant to the fact that he wants to talk about the spots, but it is. Everything he's talking about involves the group. So just give me 5 minutes. Then, of course, we go on about it, and the original finish that we had planned, he wanted to do something that I felt was a bit too far-fetched and would have elongated the whole finish. He's putting me down, and somehow I get back up, when really what I want him to do is put me down for the count. This was after the getting hit with the huge stick, where he would hit me. I literally remained there like lights are on but no one's home, and as I'm groggy as all hell and watching his space in that split second where he's hit it, there's about 2 seconds of me wobbling. He's going to hit his finisher and then smash me real quick. He kind of wanted to drag that out, and I thought, man, we won't do that. There was also a spot with Chris that Chris didn't feel comfortable doing, and he was adamant that we're going to do that. A lot of things he was adamant, and it's just like,
What
dude,
was the spot?
I can't remember. It was to do with Chris. And yeah, sorry, it would be that he would do a move to Chris on top of me, and then he would make the cover on both of us, and that's how he'd win. So he would just eliminate
And
both of us.
and when that was told, because Chris came up to me and told me about that idea, and I said, whoa, hold the phone, sorry. Steele's got to be eliminated, Rex is got to be eliminated, because we've got to have the smoke clear and have it be Kaos versus Phoenix. That's the feud that we're highlighting in this match. Rex and Steele are there as the cherry on top for this match, but it's mainly the focus of this match is you and Phoenix, and that's why it needed to come down to just you two.
So yeah, and I think it was a bit hard, because even when we're like, sorry, we can't do that, he's like, yep, that's cool. It would have only been 5 minutes later, and he's already trying to bring back the ideal. So no, man, it's not happening. There was one. He was talking about doing this move at the end, and I asked him what's your finisher. He goes, I don't have a finisher. I just do stuff.
Well, it was supposed to be the Swanton, but people have kicked out of it already. So then I think it was going to be the Falcon Arrow, but obviously this is his first match where he was going to win. He hadn't actually made a decision on what his finisher was going to be.
Yeah, and it was kind of, he wouldn't give me something. You can't. I guess if it was a devastating move, yes, but I wasn't into just taking some old move that he's just going to call a finisher. Right?
Yeah.
Hell, I could give you a stink face. That's my finisher next event. That's not going to be my finisher. So screw that. That's what I was thinking. I was like, I'm not down with that.
So if you have any advice for Phoenix of what he could do differently in future when it comes to planning matches?
Right, so the biggest thing, man, is trying the biggest way to express yourself as your character in wrestling is, for 80% of the time, is in your wrestling matches. Or I'd say 70%. I don't know. You guys are there. doctors of wrestling. But, you know, and then you've got your talking, you know, then you've got your promo work and how you perceive your character. Maybe just chill out on the whole talking a bit, you know, you don't have to do the whole narrations and
it does depend, like, on what the individual's strengths and weaknesses are, but I would say that large part, whenever you're on a medium like wrestling, you just don't have the luxury of doing all this extra character work unless you want to upload the promo outside of the show. You know, like that's. I see where you're going.
Of course, it might be different because this was a fatal 4-way and the frustrations were going on for all of us. Chris had already had to do like 2 or 3 things before coming out, before this match, and you know he was stressed. And Steele's cool to go with the flow, but you know we still want Steele to have the best match we can. And
yeah.
So I think just take everything with a grain of salt. Try not to be offended if someone shuts down an idea, because we're not really, like, I didn't shut down any ideas. I just wanted to make him better. I wanted to make him look strong, and a lot of things was making him look weaker than he was. I wanted to make him look stronger. So yeah, my best advice to you, bro, is just to just chill down a bit. Just, you know, it's try not to pack and condense all these things in like 10-15 minutes. Try and go with the flow.
You only need a few things. You don't need 50 things. You need just 4 or 5 big moments. If you want to plan some spots for a match like this, you don't need to pile 1,000 ideas in one, you know, segment. And I feel bad because, you know, a lot of people have been frustrated with him over the last year because planning a match with him has been difficult. And, you know, I'll go back to the example of him versus Dan Zeppelin. It was supposed to be a very simple formula of, I just want to see Phoenix versus Zeppelin in the best hardcore match that these two guys from 2 different eras of hardcore backyard wrestling, they finally clash. I wanted to see the very best. But the whole match was plagued by the idea that he had to have, which was him trying to lose the match. And I just didn't agree with it because it was too... I know what the guys are like with the way that they take in content. And I know what they like and they don't like, and if it's a little bit too difficult to understand, then that's when you start to lose everyone's interest in the match. DJ, we haven't heard from you yet on this match. What were your thoughts?
This match stole the show. Simple as that. As far as the actual end product of the match, this match stole the show for me. This was everything that I expected it to be when I heard about the match was going to be happening. It didn't get too crazy. You know, everything was done safely and nobody got injured. And that, in a hardcore match for me, that's like one of the top criteria of it being a good match is that nobody gets hurt. Because the art of wrestling is that you can do it without anyone getting hurt, but it looks like people are getting hurt. You know, so... yeah. That's the thing with hardcore wrestling that I don't like, where people think that if they can jump off of this or go through a table or hit someone with this, that makes it a good hardcore match. It doesn't. It just means that you have no regard for your own safety or the safety of your opponent. We didn't have any of that here. This was clearly a match where the spots were executed safely and people's safety was in the forefront of the performers' minds. You know, the stuff at the car was really good. Everyone got their own little thing in there. I think Steele really shone in this as well as being kind of the designated hitter. Would come in every now and again and you know, nail a cool move, take a cool bump. And then you had the 3 really hardcore guys doing the nitty-gritty stuff. You know, the stuff at the car was awesome. You know, Kaos gave Phoenix a sidewalk slam onto the ramp, which looked awesome. There was a lot of stuff like that. Just in the whole flow of the match and the energy of the match was, for me, everything worked perfectly and it was pulled off.
That's what hardcore wrestling is all about.
It's meant to be like that. It's meant to be something where you can, you know...
It's like boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, and
one thing after another.
And you can have fun watching it. And I think that everyone did have fun watching it, and even Slate enjoyed it, and he would be one of the most critical people about hardcore wrestling and yachting, but he really liked it and thought it was a good match. That's exactly how, like a a match of that kind in Schwa would have been. You know, back in the heyday of Schwa, when they were kind of the second best pro fed in WA, that would have been like the template for one of their hardcore matches. Just good fun, you know, some brutal stuff, but nothing too crazy because it's meant to be entertaining and we don't want anyone getting killed. For me, that's the perfect kind of hardcore match. Just a good blend of stuff in the ring, out of the ring, nothing deadly. And I think the finish with the exploding piece of wood at the end was if that had have been not the finish, it would have been fun.
It would have ruined the finish.
It would have ruined it.
And
Okay.
one thing I want to say is people over the years have had problems with their hardcore matches where they take too long to set up a spot and they lose the crowd because they've taken too long. This was exactly what I've always said. It's got to be boom, 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 one thing after another, constant, just no pun intended, chaos going on throughout the match. One thing's got to come after another, after another, after another. And I always throw it back to when Kaos wrestled Antilochus and Rex Regum in that Stairway to Hell match. It was one thing after another, no dead air. And that's been a lot of people's problems over the years, is having that dead air out there when they're setting up a spot and it's taking 30 to 45 seconds to set up a table because they got to grab this for the table and then grab that for the table, then grab the door and put it on there. And then once they put it on there, you know, they've left their opponent for nearly a minute who's still selling. You know, you could have pinned them by now if they've been down that long. So that's just one point I wanted to make.
I think that's made easier when you've got a match with more than two people in it. Because, you know, when two people were down, you still had two people going at it. And, you know, same with back with the Stairway to Hell, the first one. If someone went down, you had another person come in, and, you know, the action never stopped because you have all these people. No one's getting tired either. Like, we're all getting up, we're all building our stamina. So,
yeah,
see where you're coming from, definitely.
So we'll put a bow on this one. We'll talk about the matches that some of these guys have for the next show. We talked about Steel already. We talked about Rex already. We've got Killawatt Chaos 1-on-1 with sadistic Vincent Graves for the first time ever. Chaos, are you excited?
I am really fucking excited. I'm really excited. Me and Sadistic had a few conversations over this weekend.
Excellent.
Our match, so always good. Testing out what our limits are, and yeah, it was great. I can't wait to verse him, and I can't wait to have a really good match.
I can't remember who Phoenix is against, so I'm just going to get the card up for the show. This might have been the part where I've... Oh, there we go. Sorry, of course. He's got the World Hardcore Championship shot against Kyle Inglis, the champion. That should be a barn burner, and that's kind of like the last of the hardcore guys that haven't wrestled one another yet. This is kind of like the end of an era for WA hardcore backyard wrestling, is to have Phoenix and Kyle Inglis one-on-one for the first time. DJ, any quick thoughts?
I just think that, once again, it needs to be mapped out. They need to get a handle on this whole... I think Phoenix, for his part, really needs to try and do his best to kind of not overload the match with too many ideas. Just make it a few big ideas and fill in the rest when you're out there. You know, don't try to reinvent the wheel. And Kyle, I think, needs to make it clear if he disagrees with an idea or he's not comfortable with something or wants to change something. Kyle needs to be open with his communication as well. But as far as just the match itself goes, I'm expecting it to be really awesome, and I'm excited about it.
I think it's got potential to be match of the show.
It does.
It's definitely got that potential.
It does.
Right, we'll move on. Clint Marshall versus Alex Stone in the Dream Match Series. First time ever. I believe Alex Stone's first match was initially going to be against Clint Marshall for the ICWS Championship. That got changed. I remember discussions on the ICWS thread at the time. The match didn't end up taking place. I believe he faced Kaos instead.
Because ICWS, like, we took it pretty seriously, like, the championship and who was going to be in that match. So we decided not to put Alex
not to do it
in that spot because he'd only he was just debuting. So we put him against Kaos because they were friends at the time, and so I think that was the right move.
It was.
He was definitely more comfortable. He even told me he was definitely more comfortable to face me.
And with that being said, 6 years later, finally, Clint Marshall versus Alex Stone go 1-on-1. DJ, take it away.
This match again was just fantastic. I watched the recap back last night, and I was really just blown away by this match. I don't even think that I took the time to appreciate it as it was happening as much, but it really was like the third or fourth straight performance from Clint Marshall that just blew me away. Everything in it was fantastic. Slate was next to me. Slate was loving it. The moves that were executed were fantastic. The spots were fantastic. It looked like a fight, which, as everyone also knows, if they know me, is a very important thing.
Yep.
For it to look like a fight. And I think that Clint Marshall's power and Alex's charisma, like, really meshed well in this match. I know that we have to speed things up, so that's all I'll say. I just think that things meshed well, and it was a great performance from both of them, and I think they worked well together. And again, imagine what these two could do with like a series of matches down the line.
Definitely. Chaos.
I agree with DJ. There's not much I can say that DJ hasn't already said, but definitely, you know, I wish I watched this match sooner. Because it would have been great to, you know, see it and then start a series or a feud with these two. Alex is a great competitor. He's very devoted to wrestling as much as he is music, really. It was like that back in the day, and of course now music's taken over because he is the rock star. He's getting all the gigs, and you know what? I would have loved to see him invest more time into wrestling because I reckon this would have been an amazing match. Definitely one of my favourite matches on the card. And I can't wait to see what Alex does in the future as well.
And then I selected it as my match of the show. It was the longest match of the show, and Clint Marshall took Alex to his absolute physical limit, as he always does with everyone he wrestles. I thought it was just... it lived up to the hype of a Dream Match Series match, but obviously the one thing that was the issue was the attempt at the Supernova, and the miscommunication of the hand goes between the legs as you hook the other arm. One thing I will say, and Zibby won't be listening to this, I know he won't, but if you are Zibby, what you should do is you grab that arm between their legs before you hook the other arm. You've got a habit of hooking the arm over the top first, where you should be taking it through their legs first before you hook up the other arm.
Actually.
Yes, and that's why Alex got confused, and I think the way that you told him how to get it set up, he didn't understand. Should have just said to him, put your hand through your leg. That's all you needed to say to him. That was the only thing that let down the match, because obviously they started laughing and had to stop for a second, but other than that one little part, awesome match. Lived up to the hype.
And you know, I'm throwing something in here. I'm sorry. This whole match here giving me down the line. We have to do like another sort of dream match fantasy podcast, because I was just thinking after watching this on the recap, imagine Alex in his prime right after he'd turned on the EA against Clint Marshall in his prime from ICWS, man. How crazy that would be.
Exactly what I was thinking, yeah.
Would have been sick. But at least we got them at this stage, and it was still a tremendous contest.
Yeah.
And okay, so to put a bow on this one, Clint Marshall will be facing Mykonos for the first time since 2012 in ICWS for the number one contendership for the heavyweight championship. Winner gets the title shot at Curtain Call, our second last show. What are we thinking about Mykonos and Clint Marshall?
This is going to be a fucking excellent match. Remember the matches in ICWS?
Oh man, yeah.
Now imagine how much these guys are going to get done, and what they're going to do with all the evolution of them both.
And they've got the ropes as well that they can.
Exactly.
They got the ring.
This is. I'm going to say that this might be like a excuse me, match of the day. Definitely. I'm pretty sure. You know.
This
that match of the day, possibly match of the year.
Yeah. There's no way that this match is not awesome. There's no way.
Yeah.
There's no way, even on their worst days, that this match doesn't end up being fantastic.
Yeah.
I agree with Kaos. I reckon that it could be the best match of 2017 that WZWA produces, even though it's early on in the year. That's how highly I think of this match. That's how excited I am for it.
It's going to be awesome, and to think these two actually hadn't had a singles match since 2012 when Mykonos defended the ICWS Championship is just unbelievable. So we're getting some pretty awesome matches on the way to our final event, and very much looking forward to it.
The card looks fantastic for the next show.
Oh, it's unbelievable. And speaking of unbelievable, we're getting to 55 Live, where it's Jack Wallace, Mr. 55 Live, defending the Cruiserweight Championship against Blade Shaw, who definitely does not weigh under 55 kilos.
Okay.
I'm going to take this one to begin with here because I've got a few complaints.
Few little niggly...
Few things niggling at me.
Niggling...
Niggling at me.
Niggle's a funny word, eh?
It's niggling at me. It's a real niggle.
Fucking niggles.
Look, so Jack obviously puts out the open challenge. Blade Shaw accepts. There's no way he's going to be 55 kilos under. Okay, the scales go all the way around and he's 34 kilos. That popped the crowd huge. That was really funny. Really liked that. That was tremendous. Absolutely tremendous. So Blade Shaw somehow, with the loophole, qualifies for the Cruiserweight Championship. My complaint is that later on in the show, Blade wrestled Mykonos and he no-sold the beginning of the match, but Mykonos was trying to hit some offensive moves on him, and he was no-selling, dominant at the beginning of the match. For whatever reason, Jack is dominating the early proceedings of this match. Makes no sense. Where's the psychology, boys? Blade, you should have known this 100% going into it. Okay, so Jack attempts a few things at you. You're supposed to swat him off. If he ends up hitting that knee in the corner, following it up with a bulldog, why would Blade Shaw go down from a bulldog from a guy who's 55 kilos? On the way to taking that bulldog, you should have lifted him in the air, and the bulldog is not complete, and either hit a backdrop or just launch him forwards onto his back. That's what you should have done with that spot. It didn't make any sense that you're getting beaten down by the smallest guy on the roster when you're the biggest guy on the roster, who would end up no-selling a guy later on in the show who is bigger than Jack Wallace. That was my first main complaint of the match. It ended very well. It was short. That's the way I wanted it. It needed to be short. It wouldn't make any sense for it to go any longer than that. You still had a match later on with Mitch to have. But other than that beginning part, which I thought just threw the psychology out the window of big man versus little man, it was an awesome segment. And at the end there, obviously, the title win gets overturned and Jack Wallace retains the championship. That's my thoughts on the match, guys. Who wants to go?
Oh well, I thought it was a real quick, funny match. Like as you've just probably heard me laughing. I thought the whole aspect that the scales went all the way around, that had me laughing. I was already delirious from my match, but yeah, that was hilarious. And you know, Jack did all right versus a bigger guy, like the biggest guy on our roster. You know, apart from, like, you don't really notice it unless you really got the mind of Aston crew and you're critiquing really well, that, yeah, I never noticed the first bit with the psychology, and I'm usually good with my psychology, so I didn't really get that at first. But otherwise, it was a really nice, short, entertaining match. You know, a good filler, really. Not to take anything away from it, but I thought it was pretty entertaining. Nothing was too far-fetched.
Yeah, Mr. 55 Live scrapes through with the championship. DJ, you're a big fan of 55 Live. How did this match up?
Well, you know, obviously, Blade Shaw being the opponent, you know, Blade and I have becme really good friends.
Oh, you say that every fucking time.
Since he's been in WZWA, so it's really cool seeing that.
Me and Blade have become really good. We get it. You fucking love the cunt.
No, but yeah, this did have the typical
So
55
did it on
Live.
purpose.
Yeah. Didn't even have anything to do with my
Nothing to
analysis
do
of
with
the
it.
match.
Well, you know what I mean? Like, again, this is like the fourth fucking
Well, you
show.
know, I love Blade, and
And,
I don't have a bad thing to say. But, all right, no.
I think I was just trying to help.
So this was typical 55 Live fare. It was very funny. It was very entertaining. The stuff at the beginning with the scales was hilarious, as always.
The scales are more over than most of the roster.
Scales of Cruiserweight.
The tornado.
Got a title.
The
The
scales
scales have a title.
The tornado DDT onto the scales. The shit
Of
that Jack
Cruiserweight.
was pulling off. You know, the moves were great. The comedy was great. Everything was pulled off right about it. It was something that probably had to happen because it's one of those things that how can you pass up the opportunity to have this David versus Goliath match in the framework of this hysterical little division that we've cooked up in WZWA. And I think that in that regard, it really entertained everybody. And like Slate was laughing for a lot of it as well. Like the humor translates. You know, it's a funny concept, and everyone enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. The only thing I thought was weird was that Blade handed back the belt, because technically the record book would say that Blade has the Cruiserweight championship.
Yeah, and I'm going
if
to
he
put that
wanted
in
to,
there.
he could have just gone like,
Nah.
fuck you. You're not having the belt back. You fuck.
That was a little bit. I think that did put a bit of a dampener on it. The way that it
Would have
came
been
about.
funnier to like have him keep it and then do a segment
The next
later on.
event,
Like,
yeah. That's probably something
But
that we should have thought
nonetheless, that's like nitpicking. It's just a little niggly.
about. And I
little
loved it.
thing.
I thought 55 Live was great.
Yeah,
and
it was fantastic.
entertaining.
Jack is going through a renaissance period in his career. Blade is firing on all cylinders, as he has been for the past year and a bit. So this is two great competitors who went out there and had a really great match and a good bit of fun. So
Yeah, we'll put a bow on this one. We already know about the Cruiserweight Zoo match, but now we're going to be talking about Blade Shaw at the next WZWA event.
Have you forgotten what the
We'll
match
be
is?
defending the championship against the GBYWN Australian Heavyweight Champion
John
Moo.
motherfucking
No, incorrect. Not John motherfucking
fucking Kemsley.
Kemsley.
Alright, go on.
It's champion versus champion, title versus title, myself versus Blade Shaw, Chaos,
There's going to be a rocket buster.
DJ.
Yeah, it's gonna be sick.
I just want to avenge the shitty match we had at Hard Time.
It wasn't shit.
for-
It wasn't shit.
It was shit.
wasn't
It
shit.
was so shit. We could have done so much
pretty
better. It was just terrible. Nothing happened. The finish was good, and that was it. Everything else was. And I'm
Alright,
just like, how do
so-
we have better matches on grass and mattresses in XCW? How is that possible?
Alright, so I'm expecting this match to be a good match. You know, I think that it's another one of those things where it's pretty much impossible for it not to be, a good match.
Most definitely, yeah.
And I think that especially with how far Blade's come in the last year, this is really going to be a sight to see.
It's a struggle to see.
You know, Aston's been
So,
like...
dude.
No, I'm kidding.
Aston's been having some great matches against a wide variety of like bigger opponents lately, and now he's going to go against like a primed and ready Blade Shaw who's on top of his game. This is going to be fantastic.
It's gonna be a slobber knocker.
It is going to be a great match, man. I can't wait to see it. I
Ah,
think
man.
also learning from the mistakes, whatever you made from the last time. at
I just
halftime.
think that show was so stressful for everyone because we thought the next one was going to be the final one, and we were
Yeah.
confused. Do we keep? I mean, I was like, we're just going to keep going with storylines. Hopefully, it continues, and we don't have a final show the next event. But everyone was in such a bad mood that day because it
Oh,
was
man,
coming
that
to an
was-
end.
that was fun,
Most of the
that
matches were
situation.
shite. Like we had about, I think you and Ace was all right. The triple threat match that was there that day, and fucking, I think Ryan versus Dan was the only other somewhat okay match, but everything else on the show was garbage. All right, Bo was on that one. Battle Royal for the final spot in the Battlefield Brawl. We don't have to go over this too much. This was the LWO's time to shine. DJ, thoughts on the Battle Royal?
Well, as always with these little battle royals, they can descend into clusterfuck mode, but this was one of those ones. It was just a lot of fun. You know, it was a good little eclectic mix.
The Battle Royal is better than the Battlefield Brawl. Keep going.
Yep. Um,
Oh, I got a piss.
yeah, fuck yeah.
Yeah. Whip that dick out and just
Whip that
fucking
fat
piss.
snake out. So, no, it was a fun match. It was good seeing people like Ace and Steel and Chaos in there with the mask guys. LWO eliminating Chaos. Great moment. Just a
was-
lot of fun.
Even I loved that.
Dan Zeppelin being drunk as fuck and not able to concentrate on what he was doing.
He kicked me in
Literally-
the dick at one point.
Literally being outside the ring and not actually competing in the match, except to come in and stomp on people, and then stomping on whoever got eliminated while drinking from his drink.
Yeah.
Was a great thing, and I think that this Battle Royal was short and sweet and everything it needed to be.
Yeah.
And yeah, Chaos.
No, I thought it was great. I coming into it, I thought it would have been great to wrestle some of the guys. Like I haven't really had a chance to let's say,
Tangle with?
yeah, and the words lost me now, but to actually meet the masked wrestlers
Oh,
in the
gotcha.
ring.
You haven't actually had that face off with
Yeah,
them before.
so
Gotcha.
it was really good, and it was really fun to stomp on them, and I thought it was hilarious, the actual Battlefield Brawl, and I'm pretty sure this was the time that me and Ace had the big stare down.
Yeah, I had the big stare down
Got
and
ruined.
got ruined.
It got ruined by Aries, but I still thought it was pretty
Fucking
cool.
Aries,
Got,
man.
Got to
What
get
a
that
heel,
stare
bro.
down because I was literally coming off a loss.
I'm sorry, we try to be impartial, but isn't Arthur Aries a fucking cunt?
Yeah, he's alright.
He's
I
a
want
cunt
his kick pads. That's
for
all.
interfering in that match. He's a cunt.
That was really cool, and having LW eliminate me, all three, was really cool. That wasn't planned, of course.
No.
That wasn't supposed to happen, but I just thought, like, I've got two people clinging onto me, and I know your footsteps. I know your footsteps.
I see it taking place. I'm like, oh, we could
Yeah.
eliminate Chaos.
Yeah.
Like, I'm legitimately excited that we could actually
So,
eliminate you because we
here,
suck.
Here comes Aston dressed as the goddamn fucking skeleton again. He's gonna fucking grab my
Black
legs.
Carnival!
You see the little fucking glove slip under my fucking ankle, onto my shin, and lift me up. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go with this.
Because I was thinking if you weren't going to go with it, I was going to try and make sure that it happened, that
Yeah.
you got eliminated
But
just
I
to
did.
annoy you.
And I did the whole thing where, when Undertaker got eliminated by Maven,
Yeah.
I did that. I did the exact
Ah.
thing. I walk and I just stare and and I'm angry and I'm like,
And the three idiots are jumping up and
and
down.
yeah, I
the ring.
look back and
See!
They should keep talking about it as if they broke the streak.
Oh,
or
you've got
something.
no idea what the promo is going to be about next show.
So as for me, I found it really fun. I found it enjoying to watch, and kudos to Dan Zeppelin winning it and getting the 25th.
the person who gives
Did
the
the
least
least, yeah.
fucks about the match
And
wins
yeah.
it. Like,
And thanks for the shot to the fucking left nut, man. I think you've
Vincent Graves was supposed to win this one.
Yeah.
This was going to be his
Vinny
big
G.
moment on the
Vinny
show,
G.
but Vinny G did not show up. That's okay, though. Still had a good battle royal. My favourite part of the match, however, is the LWO picking up El Papacito and uno, dos, tres, and missing by so much.
what was that
pretty
one
sure
where
his
you,
forehead just
you tried
split
to like
the
do
ropes.
some kind of move? Like, what was it? Like, I don't think it was the throwing thing, but yeah, like something fucked up, and you just went like, ah, fuck, like,
Fuck!
fuck.
Yeah, I loved when I yell "fuck." It's
Fuck.
just when I watch it back on the footage, like I'm laughing because then like Kyle as Emilio is emulating it as well, like he's swearing in a Mexican accent as well. My God, Kyle and Deacon are triumphs as those masked characters.
like
Honestly,
Kyle, like Latino. Like,
he's such a chilled out guy
They're
without.
very funny, man.
When he's
They're
just
very-
hanging out, he's just like, yeah, man, what's up? Like, just
Yeah,
held chilled out. But as soon as he's
fuck
Emilio,
yeah.
the biggest idiot ever, But
that video that they did, Colin and Emilio,
with the cocaine and all that.
oh, that was so funny. Like, they inexplicably lose and regain shoes, like, throughout the video. Like, shit like that.
I've never seen this.
Oh, man, you've got to show the video. We've
sure.
got to queue it up after the podcast. It's so funny. It's like a Tales, but with just them in it, man. It's so funny, man.
But yeah, I just thought the LWO were the stars of the match, and Dan gets the win in the end. So moving forward, World Hardcore Championship, also a dream match right here. Kyle Inglis versus Dan Zeppelin. I think this totally hit the mark. I think this lived up to the hype that it had, and I thought they had a really good match.
This was an excellent match. Yeah, I loved it, and you know, I've been waiting to see Kyle versus Dan Zeppelin for a while.
Me too.
Just again, this would be like Monet versus Deacon. Two guys that are, you know, somewhat of average size. They almost look the fucking same. They both got the fucking Arab beards, long hair, and both are hardcore, and they both did an excellent job. And Carl didn't take anything away from Dan's character. Dan didn't take anything away from Carl's character.
They worked together.
They worked. The flow, the chemistry, the psychology, everything was amazing. I especially loved the spot where, I believe it was Kyle had his head jammed into the chair that was propped up. And Dan Zeppelin came and gave him the knee or the drop kick or something.
There's a running senton to the back.
So it was a running senton. So I've just got him lifting up in the air. It was the running senton. I only watched this last night because it's such a bad match. And I thought that was amazing. I think that was like one of my most favorite spots. I don't know why. It was just the simplicity, and it just looked hardcore. Excellent match for me. 10 stars. Robert Ebert. 5.
Loved it. Absolutely loved it. I think. And once again, this is like, well, you know, one of the last matches between two hardcore guys who are synonymous with hardcore, to see them finally go one-on-one after all this time. Kyle's just the best he's ever been now, and Dan has turned a corner since he had his match with Monet last year. He's really got his mojo back, I guess you could say. And he's having some great matches, so I was really proud of these two and what they produced out there, and it really lifts the prestige of that World Hardcore Championship just another rung up the ladder. DJ.
If you would get off your phone.
Shut the fuck up. No, it was a really good match. I was the referee, and I was thinking as it was unfolding in front of me that...
Daniel Cohn.
Yeah. Dan was really, you know, in his element here. I think that they pulled off a lot of spots that you would expect from a match involving these two. I think they tried to do some original stuff, which was good, again, without going too crazy. I think that, this was one of my favorite Dan matches that I've seen in a long time, and Kyle, I've come to really expect a good performance out of him pretty much no matter what.
Yep.
So I got nothing but good things to say about this. It was great.
Yep, sick. Yeah, I mean, I don't have any feedback really on what they can improve on. I think they did well.
This was one of those ones.
But one thing again, Dan, you got to add some of those moves in your move list to the repertoire every match. I want to see a sliced bread. I want to see some of these things that you're known for. But other than that, and also, we need to be working on that Devil Lock DDT. A few times it was hit within this show and it just didn't work, but probably not your fault. It's probably just...
Has anyone ever noticed that Dan has two moves that are sort of like the same thing? Where he like gets him in the front face lock and hammer locks him with one arm, and then on one move he does the DDT, and then on the other time he jumps forward and they back bump onto their arm. But it's like essentially...
I love that move.
Yeah,
he remembers to hit that one. Maybe he doesn't trust Carl to be able to lift him up for that.
The funny thing is, though, I never know which of those two moves he's going to hit because it's both exactly the same hole.
Setup, yeah.
And it's interesting. I don't know. I was just thinking of those niggly things that pop into your head there.
And after the match, DJ?
After the match?
Yeah, what happened after the match?
Well, I don't remember.
Well, you should know. You
were
the referee, dude.
Daniel
Moonshinger Cohn.
Dun 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 dun. Wow 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 wow.
Oh, right.
Wow.
So Dark Eyes comes out and
Wow 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 wow.
Daniel Cohn, middle name.
Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. Yes, DJ.
Dark Eyes comes out.
Yeah.
You know, Aston could be a bit of a cut, but I think overall.
Well,
I love
DJ, I love the guy, but you know what? I think he was trying to help. And,
No, so Dark Eyes comes out and he fucking, he cuts like a pretty good promo to Dan Zeppelin.
Good to get him on the show.
Says basically, you're the dude that I want to represent SPWS at the final show. Will you defend the SPWS title in your match? And Dan accepted. That's the long and short of what happened. It was a great promo.
Were you surprised to see the belt back out there?
I wouldn't say that I was really surprised, but I do think like having the SPWS belt and the ICW belt make an appearance. Like even though I didn't approve of the ICWS one, I don't give a fuck anyway. I don't give a fuck anyway.
Mate, it's Kaos's belt. He can do what he fucking wants.
It doesn't even fit around your waist.
Fuck you, man.
Or that fact that Daniel Cohn guy, whose middle name is Muchinga.
Owned.
Daniel
Don't
Muchinga
get the reference,
Cohn.
but
Fuck you.
It's Daniel Muchinga Cohn.
Muchinga Cohn.
Yeah, Daniel Muchinga Cohn.
It did turn out to be...
now I get it.
It's good that we're fucking shut the fuck up. You two fucking paisanos up in my fucking grill. So anyway... Nah, but
well,
seriously...
DJ was just trying to help.
Here's what pissed me off. Nah, but seriously, cunts. In introducing those fucking two belts, it feels like a real good way to kind of tie up all the loose ends and bring everything full circle, coming towards the end of both WZW and ICW. And before we move on to the next chapter of our lives, it's cool to see those two belts brought back into the spotlight one last time. I think it adds a little something special to Dan's last match, and I think it was a good idea having Ice come out and do that because it gave him something significant to do on the show. And I think that the actual promo itself was really cool, and was obviously
It was a nice moment.
He obviously thought carefully about what he wanted to say, and I think it came off.
Yeah, it was good to get him on the show because he's retired now, and I want to keep the Ice character there in some fashion.
If I'm nitpicking, I think that maybe Kaos should have been mentioned, but then again, I don't know what the plan is going forward with
something
that
might
angle.
happen. We'll see.
So,
we'll see.
But
obviously, seeing them two up there doing the SPWS sign, well, Kaos certainly should have something to say about that. And as I watched them do it, I was thinking, I bet Kaos is thinking right this second, fuck, I should be up there right now.
I did. If you watched me, I was just off to the side, and I was pretty fucking. I was like,
That's all right. There will be something, I'm sure, within the next two shows before we get to that final event. Because,
but yeah, overall, I did love seeing Ice being back and doing his thing. So it's not too much. I do.
Shame he won't be wrestling, but at least he's involved somehow as a character. He can't just disappear.
Well, me and Ice could never stop wrestling. I think we're best friends. Like anywhere we go, we basically start a wrestling match anyway. So,
so moving forward in the show, good point, very well made.
Fuck off.
Aston Crude, yours truly against Big Ace for the GBYWN Australian Heavyweight Championship.
Yeah.
Big Ace's biggest opportunity at this stage as a character is to get an Aussie title shot. That's pretty big, with some big wins over Monet and Kaos recently. I won't take it away now. DJ, you take it away.
Why'd you tell him to fuck off? That was just mean.
We put a bow on that, man.
And now you're using the...
I love that. I love that say put a bow on it.
Yeah, put a bow on it, wrap it up.
That's totally me ripping off Conrad Thompson with his interviews with Bruce Pritchard.
If we can just put a bow on it so I can eat this double bacon cheeseburger. Fat cunt. No, but love you, Conrad.
I think he was just trying to help, and at least no one's going to get the reference.
I fucking love it. But yeah, I'd been really excited to see this match because obviously Aston's kind of like one of the standard bearers in the Fed. He sets a lot of the bar. Ace has been firing on all cylinders for for about the last 6 months or so at least, and he's just kicking ass. He's having great matches with Kaos. He's having great matches with fucking everybody. And it's just a sight to see. As we were saying earlier on throughout the show, Big Ace is currently the MVP of the Federation.
Yeah.
First it was Steel, then it was Deacon for a bit, and now at this point, it's Ace. Ace is in that rising star MVP spot. This match was really good. I got to give you props, Aston, for the use of psychology. Not everyone that wrestles Ace would have done something like that, but the psychology is important. It was good that you didn't knock him down, basically, at all. That's how I would have done it if I'd have been in the match. But at the same time, the match had like a good pace to it. You know, it was entertaining. The pace kept up. There was
It
some
told
good
a
moves.
story.
Everything was executed smoothly. Ace came off looking like a beast. He's really improved with his strikes. He's really getting confident in the way that he moves around the space, especially after he's lost
He's
weight.
moving quicker.
He's hitting those moves in the corner, and they're looking devastating. He's hitting that splash. He's having a hell of a lot more fun while he's out there, and consequently, we're all having a lot more fun watching him, because if you're having fun doing something, people will have fun watching you do it.
Yeah.
And I think that Ace deserves, you know, obviously you brought him to that great match, but I got to give Ace all the credit in the world for hanging in there and bringing out yet another amazing performance. And he's probably, my personal favorite wrestler in the WZWA at the moment.
Me too.
And yeah, Ace is sick.
He's so sick,
Ace
bro.
is pure.
He is pure.
Ace
Chaos.
is Ace.
Chaos.
Yeah.
You know what I'm finding with Ace, as I've seen him and now I've wrestled him, he's starting to find his flow and get his groove. He's always seemed to be the guy that, and we have noticed in earlier shows, he's basically, you know, collapsed. He's out of
His
exhaustion.
fitness was a problem, yeah.
His fitness was, and you know what, now I find that, you know, you could still be the same guy, but if you work your groove and your flow and learn how to pace yourself in a match, I've been a big boy in fucking wrestling, and I know when you get puffed out and you're fucked, man. The
at
first
one point,
thing you want
you-
is a double bacon cheeseburger.
You would have been nearly Ace's size at one point, like.
Yeah, basically. Like,
When you first started in ICWS,
Yeah.
you're taller, but you would have been
probably the same way.
Similar
you know,
build,
yeah,
like-
you know, and you know, I'm really finding it. I find it. I'm really happy to find that he's learning to pace himself with you. You know, you're an old man, but fuck, man, you can still go and you can still fucking, you know, it's still hard to keep up with you sometimes. So it's great to see him. Maybe not, you know, he's definitely keeping up the pace. So it's just good to see him do that. Sorry, I'm mumbling as well. But
That's cool.
The overall matches, you both were great. You had great chemistry with him. He hit the fucking power slam. That was one thing you're worried about.
I was like, he's got to hit that perfectly.
You say it's not as good as mine. That's the one he did to mine, to me. I think it's just as good. I think it was perfect. I think it was both. Shut your fucking mouth, Daniel. I'm mumbling here.
I'll be the tiebreaker with the power slam thing.
Yeah.
I think that both of them are equally as good, but for different reasons. The one that Ace did to Chaos was really impressive because of Chaos's size,
And we didn't expect it to happen.
and we didn't expect it, so it was like, whoa. And then the one that he did to you was equally as good, but it was good because it was more a show of Ace like developing this really good technique and starting to find his consistency with the shit that he does. And you know, me and Blaine have been quite good friends since he came back. I'm joking. So yeah, no, it was really good, and I agree with Chaos about the power slams and
Definitely his technical ability is getting up there as well.
tenfold, man.
And his psychology, and I think there's
and
no one better.
he's having fun out there as well.
That's it.
And he's coming out of his shell as well. When in socializing, he's coming out of his shell, and it's so good to see that he was so shy and timid when he first came in, and now he obviously feels accepted and, you know, makes more of an effort to talk to people, and they talk to him. And it's so fun when you can see the power of what backyard wrestling can do. Bringing this sweet,
so much power,
this
bro.
sweet, gentle giant of a kid, this sweetheart of a person, bringing him out of his shell. You know, nothing but good things to say about Ace the person. Nothing but good things to say about Ace the fucking wrestler.
Agreed. And, you know, I liken the development of Ace to Just Mike in XCW. Very shy, very quiet. I've known him since we were fucking 5 years old. Very shy and quiet. But then, as XCW wore on, he came out of his shell and his personality. He started becoming confident in who he was and showed his personality. He was comfortable around the people that he was with. So then he became the person that he is now. Steel is the exact same thing. When he first started, no one paid that much attention to him. He was awkward. He still is a bit awkward, but he has grown so much as a person just because of the backyard wrestling. Ace is the exact same example again. Yeah. And this match that I had with him, I'm very fucking proud of it. You know what? It only went just over 5 minutes in length. But the story that was told, and I'm just letting you all know, based on the votes so far, this match has had more votes for Match of the Show than any other one, which is ludicrous for a match that only went just over 5 minutes. But the story that was told was so good, and Ace came up to me about 2 or 3 times during the day saying, what do you want to do for the match? And I said, hold on, big man, we'll get to it later, I'll let you know later. And we finally took some time later on after the sun had set. We sat down on the couch and I just laid out my ideas to him about how he was going to dominate. I was going to get a little bit in on him with the missile drop kick off the second rope and such. But it was mainly going to be me panicking. I can't beat this guy. And as I kept saying to Stacey, I can't beat him. And she was like, yes, you can. Yes, you can. Props to Stacey as well for remaining in character and making sure to be a support at ringside like it's real. She acts like it's real, just like Lily does. She acts like it's real and what's happening is actually taking place and it's actually real. So props to Stacey, but also just the match with Ace. I was very proud of the fact that I laid out this match to him. And I laid out the match to him, and then, what do you know, every single thing I laid out, he fucking nailed it, one thing after another. We start off the match with, you know, the test of strength. He pushes me into the corner, knife edge chop, I go down. We go up for lock up again, I do a waist lock, he gives me a fucking back, you know, shoves his ass right into my fucking stomach, knocks me flat on my face, then comes charging in with that avalanche, takes me down, picks me up for the fucking Shazam, boom, hits the Shazam, I go to the outside, I come back in, and then what happens, I charge at him, he ducks the clothesline, power slam, it's just one thing after another to make him look like a fucking machine.
And bro, it definitely had that effect, you know, it worked.
And I'm glad that it went the way that I envisioned it. That's what I was glad, because I wasn't sure if I physically was going to be able to do and take the moves properly at that stage of the night, because I was burned out already. But he hit the wasteland, looked like he was going to beat the Aceland, looked like he was going to beat me. Out comes Aries. I end up getting the surprise win with the super kick. And of
fucking
course,
Aries,
then after the match,
Again with this
what did we get? We got Crude versus Aries. What did you guys think of this part of the show?
Well, I actually felt like it was probably even a bit unnecessary. Like, I understood why it was happening and like what you were doing, but you know, I didn't really think. I think that I could have taken or leaving this segment. Like, you know, I didn't really. It was just kind of there for me. Like, it was just one of those things that happens on a show.
It's supposed to be a design for tit for tat. Aries just cost Ace the match. Ace gets him back immediately.
You know, I think it would have been. I mean, obviously you're building to a Aries Ace match, so you know, you couldn't have Ace physically do that himself. So in that respect, it really worked. Was good. It was a heaps good power bomb. Aries bumped it like a champ. And then after you got it, the 3 count goes down, and you just go fuckhead, and it was, and it was funny, especially because like Aries is just a fuckhead. And,
We love
no,
it.
so you know, it was fun to watch. It got a little pop from the audience. You know, it was one of those little things that you throw in there, and I think it worked. I think it went off without a hitch. You know, the crowd popped, and that's really what you want.
That's all I wanted from it.
The whole thing was like a crude match. Like 1.5, you had little extra bit to a nice group
Little
match.
encore,
Yeah,
little encore,
little encore.
Little encore. Yeah.
It's a little bit of a
He
Jacob-
gave us an encore. We didn't want more.
Jacob did remark to me that he thought that I buried Aries on the show here.
So let's
Well, we
talk
did see
about
the
that
shovel.
idea a little bit more clearly. What does buried mean in wrestling? People throw that around quite a lot. I would not say that I think Aries was buried.
We're actually
I
supposed to
think-
have a little bit of a match. But before the match, Aries came to me and said, do you just want to do the spot immediately? Because I know we've got time problems right now. We can just do it quickly and you can beat me quickly. Like, I don't care.
Well, look, I still wouldn't classify it as a burial regardless of what the original plan was, because a burial is the idea that you deliberately go out of your way to make a performer look shit at your for your betterment. You go out of your way to humiliate them, make them look shit, make them look weak. I didn't really see any of that going on. It looked to me like Aries was performing his part of it, and he bumped it like a champ and sold it like a champ, doing what a good heel does, and, you know, letting people get one over at his expense, giving him his comeuppance, you know. He'd been making a lot of run-ins and a lot of attacks and stuff, and so this was a little way for Ace to kind of get one back while this feud's building up, and I don't think it was a burial at all. I can see why some people might interpret it like that, since it was you in that position, you were the one that did the match. Whereas if it had been a different baby, if it had been like Blade or something in the same position,
Yeah.
it probably might not have been interpreted that way, but because you've got all that accomplishments and stuff behind you, maybe that's where that opinion comes from. But I didn't think it was a burial. I think a burial would have been like if you know, nobody liked Aries backstage and this was deliberately just a burial's like something that we would have done to Tim on a show.
Yeah.
You know, that's a burial.
Yeah.
The thing
like
is, he
Tim
buried
being
himself, really.
But he
so,
didn't
I mean,
really. He just performed a segment. That's all he did. A burial is a totally different thing. It's a
Tim buried himself.
yeah. Tim, when you say Tim's being a fuckhead, so we're gonna do this to Tim, that's doing a burial, right? So I don't think this was a burial. Just to clarify, I don't think that the definition of burial in wrestling is totally
I don't even think we've had a buried alive match, so how can we have
understood.
There you go.
buried?
And
That's fact right there.
Yeah, great little.
That's great
Thanks for adding in that bit.
I'm more than
so we've
pretty
already
close.
talked about who I'm against next show. We talked about who Ace is against next show. We talked about who Aries is against next show. Let's put a bow on it. And we'll move into our title match. Blade Shaw versus Mykonos for the Heavyweight Championship. Solid contest. Blade gets the win. At this stage, I am actually getting concerned that now the title reign has gone a step too long.
Whoa, hang on, slow down. Now we have to
People
discuss
aren't
that.
popping for the win
Now
there.
we have to discuss that. We have
People
to
weren't
discuss
popping
that.
for the win.
Tell me why. Don't just say simplify it like that. Last podcast, you going, this title reign is perfect.
It was
I love
perfect
it.
to that point.
And now
It
one
was.
show goes by, and now you're changing. You're
I'm not
doing
changing. I'm not going a 180.
But
I'm
you
just
are.
saying
Your
at this
opinion's
point
just-
now, the way that the crowd reacted, I don't know what they were expecting. Were they expecting Mykonos to win the title? I don't know, but like, usually there was a pop every time Blade got the win. So
Okay.
now I'm concerned.
So
I'm not
now-
saying that I
alright,
think
so
that. I'm just concerned.
We'll discuss that wider issue for a little bit before we actually analyze the match. So I kind of can understand what you're saying, but from my point of view, what I saw was I was looking at it more as it had been a long day. Everyone was kind of getting ready to. The Battlefield Brawl still hadn't happened, and a lot of us were kind of ready to just have a party, have a few drinks, get the show done and dusted so that they
That's
could
a good point.
socialize. The
That's a good
show had
point.
been going on for a long time, so this might have been that syndrome where the crowd's a little bit burnt out by the time the main event comes on. So that's like 95% of the problem right there.
You know
and
what?
Then the other
You know what?
5%,
I take what I said back.
and the other 5%,
Not realizing, yes, actually, it was fucking 7 hours.
And
at
the
that
other
point.
5% to it was the actual physical finish of the match itself, was a bit wonky and a bit out of nowhere. Blade actually struggled to pick Mitch up initially for that end of days at the end, and then just kind of hit him with no real build up to that finish, and then just pinned him from the move. So the actual finish of the match was a bit jarring. It came a little bit out of nowhere. Yeah. It was sort of like similar to what happened with the Blade Ice match a couple of shows back, where the finish kind of came out of nowhere and a lot of fans were kind of a bit like wondering what had happened. So I think that, that's my thing for... I don't think that this had, the crowd's reaction was any indication of what they think of the title reign or Blade's performance or Mykonos' performance. I think it was the placement of the match, the mood that everyone was in, because like I just said,
the ring had broke.
Everyone was in party mode by that point. Everyone was ready to kind of
get to the brawl,
get to it, so that they could get out and get changed and fucking get on the piss. So, do you have anything to add to that?
Man, I've got to fully agree with you. Everything you've said, we're at the moment where it was another one of those times where we've come to like the second or last, match of the show, and it's literally we're all buggered, we're all fecked. It's night time at the moment. Everyone's a bit.
A lot of people have done double duty wrestling as well.
Everyone's running around as well, trying to get their numbers right, making sure their gear's all right. It was a short match for my liking. I know we're under time.
Didn't go over 10.
So it was a bit. I expected more. So I wish there was more. It was a great match otherwise. Like, you had some great moments. And of course, the finish, I don't think it was a good finish.
Yeah, I think there needed to be at least like 3 false finishes coming from that.
But yeah, like I will say, like I wanted the match to go over 10. It didn't go over 10. It felt like we had the start of the match and we went straight to some false finishes and then the end. Right. Yeah. I think after Blade hit the first end of days on Mykonos, to pick him up and just hit him with another one. Was that what happened?
I think so.
I think that's what happened. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry.
I think I don't know, because I think I remember him hitting like a signature, and I remember thinking this is pretty early in the match and they're already hitting a finish.
Yeah, like Mykonos had hit the special beam cannon, Blade
so
had hit the
alarm
sky
bells,
high.
Yeah, I had some alarm bells going off in my head that this match was suffering from a bit of that late show-itis. But the actual match itself, I was pretty happy with it.
Still great.
I thought it was good. I thought the moves were pulled off. I think this is another... Obviously, Mykonos, Blade, we talk about how good they are all the time whenever we do a podcast. It was the same high-quality performance that it always was. I just think that everybody at the show, including the 2 competitors, was suffering from how long everything had been going on for, and just...
If we didn't have that break where the top rope had broken down, where it was about an hour, this show would have finished by 10. It finished by 11.
Yeah, I think
we lost an hour there because of the ring breaking.
What we've just discussed there with this match, I mean, I don't really have anything negative to say about the match itself as far as nitpicking. I think that besides the finisher, which was a bit jarring for my taste, the match was fine. But I do think that everything that we've just brought up with the crowd and the atmosphere by that point in the show will segue quite nicely into our discussion of the Brawl match itself. So,
yeah, we'll put a bow on that one.
So we've talked about the next opponents for those 2.
Yeah, right? Mykonos versus Clint Marshall and Blade Shaw against Aston at the next event. So we get to our Battlefield Brawl match. Winner was Ryan Tate after an hour and 4 minutes or something like that. And I guess I'll get you guys to take it away first. But first thing I want to say is my bad for not making sure that the brawl was 60 seconds between each person. Instead, we had 90 seconds, which was just way too long. So after everyone had expended so much energy during that 90 seconds of trying to do stuff and keep it interesting, by the time the 7th or 8th or the 9th person had come out, everyone was already pretty blown in the match, and the weather was very humid and stuff. So it's my bad. I should have said to Blade and Ryan and Luke, it's got to be 60 seconds. 90 is too long. Because I remember being in the ring the whole time being like, fuck, it's taking a long time for that next person to come out here. I've made a mistake here.
Well, I'm going to ask if Kaos can go first so I can get a few of my thoughts together.
Do it.
And I know that I'm going to have a lot to say, so I just think, like, I don't want Kaos to be left out. Like, let's get his thoughts in.
Well, I thought the Battlefield Brawl did go for a bit long. There was something a bit different from all the other ones, and that was that we didn't have people coming out as soon as we usually do. Another thing was we're usually a lot more organised when it comes to the Battlefield Brawl. It always seems like everyone. It almost seems like everyone. It's always smooth that everyone gets out, and the ring's almost always never too full or never too fractured in the flow. One thing I did like was having Alex Stone and DJ started off. I thought that was a great pick for them being 1 and 2 because they really brought a really excellent little match. Like, you know, we also have a bit of a prelude to what's going to happen next event.
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool. And then, of course, you have the LWO coming out and, you know, they're fucking around and that's always fun. I had a lot of fun in it. For the most part, it was... I could have seen Ryan winning it, like, straight from the get-go. Of course, if it wasn't me, it had to be someone else. I had a wonder, and I thought it would have been Ryan, which is kudos to Ryan. I do wish I'd maybe not got the most eliminations in the Battlefield Brawl, but I wish I knew what was going on to, you know, throw in a few more eliminations. I felt like my flow was a bit stagnant through the whole thing. I did get my little...
You should have taken about 4 of the eliminations that Ryan had.
Yeah.
So. Like, I think Ryan coming in and throwing out all 3 members of the LWO immediately, it's like, why can Ryan do that, but Alex and DJ couldn't throw one of them out? Yeah. Should have shared it. Alex should have thrown one out. DJ should have thrown one out. Ryan should have thrown one out. And then we'll get to you 3 to fight within each other.
Yeah, that would have been excellent.
But, you know, whatever reason they decided Ryan was going to come in and throw out all 3, I didn't agree with it.
Yeah, well, for the most part, we did the best we could with what we had. We had a 25 person, you know, Rumble, Battlefield Brawl. That in itself, it's already fractured a bit, and then, you know, the flow of everything and eliminations and people not wanting to get eliminated.
Like, I haven't got to my spiel yet. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure I'm going to have a rant and a half. But while we're waiting for Dickhead to come back from having a wank or something, I don't know where DJ's gone. I want to talk about the people who were going to be in the Brawl but didn't end up showing up. J7 Bloodstone. I've been talking to him previously for several weeks to be in the Brawl as one of the, you know, entrants in it as a surprise. He hasn't wrestled since 2012. I thought it would be easy for someone who hasn't wrestled for so long to just be in a Rumble. He didn't end up showing up. Apparently he was in a car accident that night. I don't know what the truth is, but that's what ended up happening. I've been in touch with Lightning Lewis over the last few months, but for whatever reason, the last month and a half, he has not been on Facebook, so I've not been able to contact him. I was going to have him in it. Obviously, Vincent Graves was going to be in it. Obviously, Dark Ice was going to be in it. They didn't end up being in it. Mykonos, obviously, he lives quite far away, so he said he couldn't stay to be in the Brawl, so he decided to leave early. Stacey was going to be in the Brawl, but because of Mykonos leaving the show, the spot that was going to take place with Stacey in it, well, there's no need now for Stacey to be in the Brawl. I think that's about it. We just tried to get a few surprises. Brian Lowe was actually going to be in it as well, but he got a new job, so he decided not to show up because he was worried about potentially re-injuring his shoulder and missing out on the job opportunity that he has at this time. So that was a shame. But all in all, you know that could have been some those could have been some really nice surprises that we didn't end up getting, so it's unfortunate that we didn't get those surprises, but, you know,
yeah,
it is what it is, I suppose. I'm still waiting for Fuckface to get back here.
We did get Johnny V. I did have my little thing with Johnny
And
V.
I ain't saying anything about that until it's time for me to have my rant. But what were your thoughts on tangling with Johnny V in the slightest way that you have?
I think I thought it was pretty funny. I
like that you introduced yourself to him.
I did. I was like,
these characters had never met.
yeah, it was good. It was good to see him, and it's like this XCW original, and it's like, wow, hello. Like, I came off as somewhat like a nice little fanboy at first, fully deceiving him. Hi, hello, Tony V. I'm Killawatt Kaos. And I'm fucking Chaos Theory.
And I thought to myself, that's a surreal moment. I never thought I'd see Chaos and Johnny V tangle even just slightly.
Yeah.
So that was really cool.
So it was really fun to have that.
DJ,
Have you had your spiel about
No.
this?
I haven't because I'm waiting to the end.
Oh, you're waiting until the
He's
end.
the end
because
guy. You're not going
I'm
to the
angry.
end.
I'm
Oh,
angry.
right.
He's
So
the end guy.
Okay, so
we'll get through you because I
I'll-
know you're positive about this show. I mean, this brawl. So
Well, I've got my negatives, but
He's the end
I'm
guy.
more positive.
Tonight, he's the end guy.
Yeah.
He's
Okay.
having last say.
Alright, fine.
But
I
if you do
understand,
make
I
the
heard
end
what
guy,
he fucking
he's the
said,
end
but I
guy,
don't
dude.
need you to tell me about the formatting of
But
the show.
if you
man.
do say something that is the exact same point as something that I want to say, I will put my hand up and you'll have to give me 30 seconds just to
Yeah.
Alright.
reiterate why I agree
If
with
that's
what you're
bugging
saying.
you, here's some error guard.
Yeah, fucking nice plug.
Fuck off.
West Side. So first fucking point, I loved the fact that I got to enter number one, especially for the last brawl. I always love it when kind of the veteran that no one really expects to win starts out early in the match. I think it's good. I loved the fact that me and Alex got to start out number 1 and 2 and give a little teaser of the upcoming match to people. Me and him were both really pumped about it. We both had some drinks. Like, we were both just backstage just going like, fuck yeah. Yeah, let's fucking kill it. Like, we were just hell pumped up. Alex was excited. I was excited. We went out there. I think that we had a good little showing in that first 2 minutes. That was a good prelude to what people can expect in the match.
That's exactly what I said.
Yeah.
Yep.
Honestly, I think that I'm really glad that I feel like I performed well in this match because I wasn't that happy with my singles match. But then it did get to a point where me and Alex had both hit like some of our signature moves and stuff like that, and we'd been working on each other. We'd each tried to throw each other out of the match, and no one else was coming in. So it was getting a bit taxing in that regard.
Yeah.
And then what happened was the LWO guys came in as the next 2 entrants.
3.
The 3 entrants. But then the problem with that was, for me and Alex, was being that we were the most viable competitors in the match at that point, was that they couldn't really do too much to us because they're jobbers, and then we were running out of shit to do with them because we didn't think we could throw anyone out or anything like that because we didn't know what was going on. So we're kind of sitting there, and then already by the time the 3 guys from the LWO would come in, the match had begun to suffer from that syndrome of people just laying on the floor and selling, which I know that that's going to be one of your points, but I want to bring it up because it was a big thing with me. Like, I was thinking the whole time of what is Slate thinking watching this
Me
match,
too.
because I wanted it to be good for him.
And I was
And
like,
I was like, even saying to Deacon and Kyle and to Alex, I whispered into their ears at different points, like, guys, you gotta try and go for eliminations. You don't have to throw people out. Like, when I said to
just
people,
pretend.
on a couple of occasions, I said to someone, I'm gonna throw you out, and they're like, no, I'm not getting thrown out yet. It's like, no, I'm not trying to throw you out. I'm trying to fucking act like I'm trying to win the match. It's like, I know that really bugs Chris a lot as well. Rex Regum gets bugged, and he was saying to me after I got eliminated. But in any case, this goes on for a while. I feel like I'm trying to feed to people as much as I can when they come in. I feed to Ryan. I feed to Monet. Ryan fucks me up with a German suplex. It looks cool. Everyone pops. I feed to whoever I can. I feed to you. We start doing this thing. It's at that point when you come in, when I said to you, bro, like, no one's eliminating anyone or trying to eliminate anyone from the match. This is getting to the point where there's a lot of dead air in between those entrances, and everyone's just laying on the floor selling because everyone is thinking that they want to be one of the people laying on the side of the ring, waiting until they're ready to jump back into it. And I don't want I can't criticize that because I do it as well, because my cardio is not the best. I'm not the most fit guy in the Fed, and I can't go non-stop for a sustained period of time. Like, I was in the match overall for about 28 minutes. I couldn't have been on my feet the whole time. It's just not something I can do. But it's like, surely there were some people that were fresher that could have picked up the reins a bit and been out there doing a bit more. Kyle came in Kyle came in as himself. I fed to him. Other people were feeding as well, but there was only like 2 or 3 of us that were really feeding. The rest of the time, the guy that was coming in had to like look around for something to do and then run up and start stomping on someone. And then you asked me at that point, do I want to get eliminated? And I just, I was having fun in there. I could have kept going, but I was just like, yeah, sure. Obviously, if
really, you should have only lasted 14 minutes at most. 28 is a long time.
Yeah, you see,
it's because of that 90-second mistake that we made.
And I knew if Carl was asking me, do I want to be eliminated, then probably he's in the process of clearing out the ring.
Because everyone's complaining there's too many people in the ring, So
I was like,
and I crawl around asking, I'll get to it when I get to it. You keep going.
He threw me out, and then I'll wrap up my portion of it by saying I was then watching it. I was kind of getting a running commentary from Slate during the whole thing. By the time it was getting to number 20, Slate was sort of like, when is this? This has to be the last person, right? Because there was so long in between the eliminations. There's 25 people. Between 20 and 25, that's 10 minutes, That's a long chunk of time.
It's too long.
And there was a lot of time, like Chris was really upset as well. Not at anyone in particular, but he was sitting there, and I agree with him 100%. And he was like, the first thing he said to me when I got out of the shower and sat down was like, dude, no one's trying to win the match. No one's trying to do eliminations, and no one's...
Don't tell me you got eliminated, had a shower, and came out and the match was still going.
Yes. Dude, I came out and there'd only been like 3 extra entrants in there, bro. Like, so I came out and sat down.
Bad.
I was watching... I was in the crowd watching like the last 2/3 of the match. So, to put that in perspective. And Rex was saying... exactly that. No one's trying to eliminate anyone, so everyone's just selling on the floor, and there's no fucking organization. And he did single out a few people that he thought should have known better. I'm not going to name any names, just because why bother starting up shit that's not necessary. But I wholeheartedly agreed. I was like, I felt like me and you were in there. We were trying our hardest. Alex was trying. He knew what was going on. But then it was just a case of a lot of other people, if they didn't have anyone holding their hand and telling them what to do, they didn't know what the fuck to do, It was frustrating for me to be in the match, like, watching people not feed, watching them not try and throw each other over the top. Like, that, it's almost like they kind of feel like they shouldn't need to go near the ropes in a Royal Rumble situation unless it's time for them to get thrown out or throw somebody else out. That's not how it works. It's like how we always say to people, when you first start a match and someone does a pin, don't kick out at 2. Kick out at 1 and build it up, It shouldn't be... Like, you've got to go from... first someone throws you in there and you elbow them off pretty quickly because you're fresh. Next time they throw you off, it's a little bit harder, but you still manage to elbow them off. Next time they throw you over, they might actually get you halfway over, and then you've got to fight to actually stay.
It's like if it were a video game.
Yeah. So it's got to be that progression, and you have to try and win the match. Like, I think a lot of times, and it showed to a frustrating degree in this match, in this brawl, that people forget in the heat of the moment, and everyone, once again, like, I'll bring that up before I move on as well. Everyone, it had been a long day. Everyone was already in party mode. A lot of people had already had a lot of drinks.
It was hot.
Honestly, it probably wasn't. We should have been more on top of that, trying to police it and say, hey guys, just keep it to 1 or 2 drinks before you, and then after the brawl you can do whatever you want. Because I think that was playing into it. I think that whole thing was contributing to it being discombobulated. And to wrap it up, I just think that in general it needed to be more organized, and there was a lot of dead air, as you would say.
My bad. I must have checked out earlier in this show because I specifically said, stop asking me questions. Talk to Ryan and Luke if you want to talk about the Brawl, because I've checked out. Because I was getting question after question after question. When am I in? Can I do this? Can I do that? Just go and be in the Brawl. Like, just be in the Brawl and figure it out when you're out there. Stop asking me questions. That's how I felt. One of the major mistakes, obviously, as I've mentioned before, was 90 seconds between each person. It should have been 60, like it has been every fucking year, but I made a mistake there. My bad, I own up to it. Another thing was, people that were supposed to be there till late, I'm talking about Ryan, I'm talking about Deacon, I'm talking about myself, I'm talking about Monet, were in far too early. So we've got these bodies in there for quite some time, which is filling the ring up with people. So that's why we have to keep asking people, do you want to be eliminated? Do you want to be eliminated? Because the ring's getting fuller and fuller, and it's getting more and more dangerous with the more people that are in there, which is something that has happened over the years in the Battlefield Brawl. If there's too many people in there, people start getting hurt. Someone's going for an Irish whip as someone's hitting a suplex. It gets very difficult to maintain some sort of order in the match. So those were two big mistakes that I made by not being more hands-on with how things were going. Ryan should have been way later. Monet should have been way later. Deacon should have been in way later. If they were going to be in the final four, they should have been in later. I don't know why Deacon had to be in so close after Colin was. It's just the way it ended up going, and I apologise for that. But yeah, obviously there was the issue with being in the ring and saying, do you want to be eliminated? No, not yet. I haven't been in long enough. And then when it got toward the end of the match, the people that came in later on only spent 2 minutes, 3 minutes. DJ's in there 29 minutes. I think Alex was in there 45 minutes. It's ridiculous that these guys were in there for so long.
Alex was in there for a long time.
Because Kaos had only just got in, and Alex couldn't get eliminated until he had eliminated Kaos, which would kick off their angle. That's a mistake that was made. But I wanted Alex to be number 2 to wrestle with you.
But Kaos
probably should have been a bit earlier.
Kaos was coming in as I got eliminated, though. So, like, right
so
as
that's,
I was walking out.
So that's half an hour into the match, right?
No, I walked out as soon as Phoenix walked back. Because remember, the way I entered was Phoenix just got through the curtain.
Yeah, but I had just been thrown out right when that happened.
Oh, right,
so I was like walking back to the curtain right when that. So that means that you and Alex must have been in there for a little bit longer before
I was
you
still
actually
in there for a while.
Kaos should have been in way earlier than he was. Unfortunately, it wasn't mapped out properly. So it's my bad. It's on my shoulders because I should have sat there for half an hour and figured out how we're going to do it. Because the last Brawl that we did, for whatever reason, I guess the entrants were in the appropriate spots. So when I booked it as I was in it, it was easier to do it back then. This time around, it wasn't. But once again, a lot of people coming to me with ideas about how they can continue their storyline with whoever. They want to do this, want to do that. Okay, fine, do it. But just stop asking me questions. It was burning me out. So, look, we've gone over all of the negatives. We get towards near the end. And I guess this is the part that pissed me off the most, because it's two people not fucking thinking. Deacon had been eliminated. Now we're down to our final 3. It's Monet, Antilochus, Fry and Tate. It probably should have been Deacon, Antilochus, Fry and Tate, because we had Jack doing the interference to eliminate Monet. What fucked me off was that Jack eliminated Monet, and it must have been 90 seconds, nearly 2 minutes of this beatdown on the outside. You got the final 2 standing in the ring like fucking idiots, waiting for them to fucking hurry up and wrap it up and get it over and done with. He's throwing him onto the entrance ramp thing. He's kicking him. He's hitting moves. Dude, you got the final 2 in the ring. You've eliminated him. Just fuck off already. You didn't need to keep attacking and drawing it out. It wasn't about your feud. It was about the final 2. And I'm sure if that happened whilst Deacon was already in there, then it wouldn't matter so much, because the emphasis of the final 2 wouldn't be there yet. And those three could be brawling in the ring whilst you're doing your thing on the outside. But because it was the final two, they're standing there with the stare off. Well, they can't do the stare off because the camera's busy focused on what you guys are doing on the outside. You took too long to do your bit. It should have just been the elimination and maybe throw his head into the entrance ramp and then that's it. But you kept going and kept going and kept going, and it took all the air out of everything if the air hadn't already been taken out of it already. Then we get to the final two of Antilochus and Ryan Tate. And before I even get to that, once again, I want to say I wasn't happy with Ryan blowing the record of most eliminations away. You should have thought about it a bit more, Ryan. I've told you this already, but other people should have got some of those eliminations. You shouldn't have charged in and eliminated the 3 LWA members. You, Alex, and DJ should have taken it in turns and eliminating one each. That being said, we get to the final two, and I don't think you two must have sat there and planned out how you were going to do the final elimination, because it was disjointed. The first time you went to eliminate Antilochus, it didn't work. I think you got in the way of Antilochus getting thrown out, or the ropes, just that you were too close to the ropes. I don't know what it was that happened, but it took a lot more air out of it. Once again, if there's any more air to be taken out of it. So the end of the match was telegraphed. We'd seen you try and do the final elimination already. You finally did it. You won the brawl. It was a long fucking day. The pop wasn't there, unfortunately, which made me feel real bad about the whole thing because it was supposed to be Ryan Tate's big moment. He wins the Battlefield Brawl. That's nice, but at the same time, because of the disjointed final elimination, because of Jack and Monet going at it for way too long with the second last elimination, that ruined a lot of it for me. If not, I had already ruined it myself by having not mapped it out properly, and also the 90 seconds thing. So that's my rant. That's my rant to end the show. That's why I think when I look at this show now, I'm disappointed in the fact that everything that I envisioned didn't play out the way I wanted it to.
And I think it's all come back to that central theme of communication, I think that we strayed from that one rule that always guides us through the dark, is communication is like the lighthouse guiding the ship's way through the ocean. And we didn't have none of that shit, and the ship crashed into the rocks, and we're lucky that the recap was done so excellently by Ryan that the good things that were in the brawl and in the show overall, the show looked like another really good show from WZWA. And any show where people have fun and get together and wrestle is good. Obviously, there was a lot of good matches, but communication was a big problem, and with so few shows left, before the end of the Fed, we don't fucking have time for Carl to be getting so burned out by everyone coming at him from all directions that he can't enjoy the show. That shouldn't be happening at this point in time, because we've all been doing this for several years. There's no reason why any of that shit should be going on. And there's no reason why, when we're all wrapping up our final storylines and getting everything squared away and trying to enjoy the golden time of the Fed, the twilight period, that we should all be fucking around with communication and stuff should be descending into clusterfucks.
It should be a lot easier than this, guys. You guys have been doing it long enough now. You've got a month between shows. Plan your shit out.
We're all people and shit, and that's fine. People make mistakes, but sometimes it seems like this year it's been. And the end of last year, it's becoming apparent to me that one thing we don't have anymore that we used to have a few years ago is consistency, because occasionally you've got people getting behind it and getting motivated, and it's a great classic show like I Know We Can Do. And then other times it's just people coasting through a month of WZWA like they have done sometimes, where they just go, fuck it, we'll sort it out on the day. And then the day comes and no one's motivated to sort it out like they thought they would, because they're more interested in...
And that's why I get a million questions, because now they've got their ideas, and it's like if you had planned your shit within the last month, these questions would have already been asked, so I don't need to be asked 1,000 questions on the show where I end up getting burned out and I end up telling them leave me alone.
You can just send a quick message on
just
fucking
message,
Facebook.
just message.
Carl's always on Facebook. He lives on Facebook, and you can just
Hailing from Facebook.
You can just fucking send him a quick message and just
or anyone in the booking committee. You got 4 of us to message. Like, just message one of us, so I don't have to deal with 1,000 questions. Come up with your match plan during the time that you have away from WZWA. Then it will be easier for me. Then I can actually enjoy the show, and hopefully it'll be more organised and there's no breakdown of communication.
And that's it. And you know what? Even if it's something that doesn't even need to go to the booking committee, you've got some questions about wrestling moves you'd like to do, or an angle, or how to get the psychology down. That, you know what? You've got us older guys. Feel free to even come up to like me or DJ.
Exactly.
We've been doing it for a while. We're good at this stuff.
They'll know to give you advice that wouldn't interfere with whatever my plans are.
Because we know what the fucking, like I said that I think maybe like 6 or 7 months ago on a podcast, that only a couple of the guys on the roster will come to me or the older guys and actually ask for advice or pick our brains about shit. Like, we can help. There have been several matches in the past that I've basically done a lot of the planning of, because people have come to me and said, we need help organising our match. And I'm happy to do that shit. I like that shit. And, I know it feels like we're having a fucking go at everyone, and we kind of are, because this is important to all of us, and we're all responsible for the overall lackluster quality of the last show.
We've made these mistakes ourselves.
We've all made these mistakes, and we can't afford to be doing this shit so close to the end of the Fed. We need, I need from people, from where I'm sitting, I'm not the booker or anything like that, but I need people to come to the shows and have the wrestling be their first priority. Not, can I go and get a lift with someone to go and get fucking food?
I'm sick of it. I'm sick of that shit, dude. I'm so sick of it.
I'll just say,
I've had enough.
And just and not, can I go and do you have money? We can split a carton and we'll come back and we'll get shit faced. That should be, you think about that after you think about the wrestling, or you organise it before you get there, so that you know what the fuck's going on. You
get
can
it done
concentrate
before
on the
you
show.
get there. Don't
fucking
leave during the show.
We can't have like a group of 4 or 5 people that all want to go and get food, for example, all leave to go and get a ride down to the fucking shop. Because then there's 4 or 5 people that aren't there if we need some people to do a match, and there's 4 or 5 people that aren't going to be in the crowd and shit like that.
Fucking have fucking breakfast.
When a show is happening, we do the show. There's plenty of opportunities where we do have breaks, where you could go and get some food. And as far as the booze thing, I know we all like to party. I love to party. Like, I'll drink a beer if it's available. But, yeah, that's right. That's right. Someone offers me a beer, I'll take it. But one thing, I just think that some people are putting too much importance on the partying side of what they're going to do, and they're letting that get in the way of being totally on top of everything they need to sort out with their wrestling. And that's just my perspective. I don't know if anyone agrees with me. That's just what I think, that some people are just prioritizing things wrong.
I've just had enough of everyone having to leave the show halfway through because they haven't fucking thought about eating breakfast beforehand, and it's, always got to adhere to everyone else. Oh, can I have my match at this time because my friend's coming to watch? I don't care about your fucking friend. I care about getting the show done. I care about everything that we've mapped out for a month and you've mapped out with your opponent. I care about that being pulled off properly. And, the thing is, you all know your final angles into the final show. And this is the last thing we're going to talk about before this podcast is over. You know where you're headed. You know what you're doing. I have had enough of writing everything. You know your angle, you fill in the blanks. It's been like that for a long time. Sometimes I'm more hands-on with some storylines than other. But you need to come up with content and you need to pitch it during the breaks between shows. You need to paint your fucking canvas. This is all your final storylines, your final angles until you retire.
Sorry.
This is all your final angles and storylines before you retire. So you paint the canvas. I just fucking lay out the canvas and I give you the dot points of where we're going each show, but you give me some more content because I'm running out of ideas. We've had interferences over and over and over again. I don't think I'm getting any content where people are cutting promos between shows. I've asked people to do them, but no one's done anything yet. E for effort. You need to talk to your opponent, your final opponent, and come up with some content for your final matches and your final storylines.
I think, like, for my final little thought before we wrap up, like, me and, like, my final opponent, you know, we talk at the shows about, like, what little thing can we do here and there to add something to it. And each show, we've been trying to include, you know, some little thing here or there to build on the angle. But in case you think you're getting mixed messages from what Carl is saying, like, when he says you got to come up with content for yourself, he's not saying that you can go crazy and go into business for yourself and decide that you want this person to interfere, or you want to change your match to a hardcore match, or you want to manipulate the situation and have the result different from how it's supposed to be. He's not saying that. He's saying that you got to come up with some ideas for your feud that you think would make sense and send him a message when you're not at the show. Or if it's an insignificant thing, if it's a relatively small thing, like, for example, me and Chris were in the ring a couple of shows back. I told him to hit me with his finish after the match just because it was a little extra thing building to the match, right? That's insignificant. Doesn't really matter generally if you do something like that. But at the same time, in saying that as well, let's be smart as well. If there's been an interference in like 20 other matches, or someone's hit a finish on the referee in a match previous to yours, you shouldn't hit your finish on the referee.
Then don't fucking do it. Like, it's simple.
We can't have a repeat of all the shenanigans. It's like, that's why, even though I'm as guilty of it as anyone, like, we can't all cut a promo before/after our match and just have every single match have a promo segment. That's what the in-between the shows are for. Kaos is really good. He cuts promos in between the shows. Ryan cuts promos in between the shows. Mykonos cuts promos in between the shows. So we need more of that. And I think that what Carl is saying is just, you know, take a bit of initiative with your final angle and your final storyline, you know, because you're all experienced enough now where you should be sensible enough to go, I think this can really add something to it. This will... you've basically got to fill out the guideline you've been given for your final angle yourself. And if you don't end up taking the initiative and doing that, then Carl's just going to tell you when you come to him at the show, figure it out yourself, or you should have figured it out yourself, now your match is on. And it's too late. That's how it's going to have to be, because... like, Carl's my friend, and I want him to enjoy the final thing of the Fed as well.
See, I enjoyed Hostile Backyard Showdown more than anything in the last 2 years. I loved it. So to do a complete 180 this time, and don't make me beg you to fucking cut a promo. Just take initiative and do it. Surprise me. It'll make me happy. I don't want to have to keep on, like, you know, being boss. I just want to enjoy it like you guys do. I just want to be another guy on the roster sometimes. So that's it, guys. A review of Battlefield Brawl 2017, 2.5 hours long. Yeah. But look, there was a lot to rant about.
There was, and it, you know, it was a little bit of a negative podcast. But it did need to be said.
That's how the cookie crumbled.
Yeah.
It wasn't as funny this time. I apologise. And if you stuck with us for this 2 hours and 36 minutes so far, good fucking job, because I probably wouldn't have. One thing we didn't mention was the situation with me and Mykonos after the match with Blade, where I went to super kick Mykonos as the next...
Good psychology. It was really good.
Member of the hit list.
Yeah. Catches you out. He's like, hey.
Saw it coming the whole time, blah, blah, blah. We didn't go over that, but that's okay.
So that happened, what he just said.
That was good.
It was good. It was good. Mitch didn't. He did it well, but he was supposed to just take one step backwards, not skip ahead in front of me. one step backwards in a very calm fashion. I miss the super kick and I'm stopped in my tracks, and he snatches the microphone from behind, and he was supposed to cut about a minute-long promo, not just 2 sentences, and then hit me with the pedigree. But breakdown and communication, that is the general consensus for this show, the breakdown in communication.
Can we start this whole podcast off with Communication Breakdown by Led Zeppelin?
That's probably what we will do.
Yeah, I'm cool with that.
Excellent.
I'm glad.
Well, I'm Aston crewed alongside Killawatt Kaos.
I was going back there.
DJ,
Yep.
thank you for listening.
West Side.
And
Fuck off.
we had a good time.
Yeah. We
Complaining
did.
for 2.5
we did.
hours.
So thanks for listening.
Thank you
everyone.
guys,
See
and
you
I
next
think
time.
Terry was trying to help.
Yeah, I think he was
and,
trying to help,
I think,
but you know,
he was just trying to help, and
California.
look at everyone trying to get the last word.
Everyone,
We're
I'm
doing
going
it, man.
to,
I'm gonna
I'm
get
going to
the
say
last word. I
goodbye.
have to get
Thank
the
you very
footage,
much
you
for
know.
listening, everyone.